Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's the land of the free and the home of student drivers ready to back into your new fence at any given time. It's firing up a round of burgers and dogs on your rusty grill with a faulty gas line that engulfs your tool shed in flames. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
With all the school supplies your child will need over the years, it can be easy to overlook the most important one of all, money, which is a good reason to open an AZ 529 education savings plan. Whether you invest $15 or $150 a month, your money grows tax-free. By the time your little one is ready for college, vocational school, or workforce training, they'll have all the savings they need to get the job of their dreams. Visit az529.gov to get started.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
Quiet, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
And welcome everybody to a Friday edition of the Daily Blender on this Friday. Ken, I bet you're pretty happy about Friday, aren't you?
I mean, Friday is when I don't leave the building, so.
Oh.
I'm less excited about Fridays. Saturdays,
very happy.
I'm great.
Saturday.
Let's go.
Sorry about that. We are Daily Blender here on this October 11th, Friday edition of the Daily Blender, and you are the fourth dimension. Texting in at 888-368-1580 as we broadcast live from the Harman Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Right over there, that's Keon Rose. You already heard him on this Friday edition of the Daily Blender, the sexiest man in sports talk radio. I'm Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is still out. And he will return when he's damn good and ready to. So much to talk about today, everybody. Game 5 of the National League Divisional Series. Padres, Dodgers tonight at Chavez Ravine. That'll be happening. Mr. Wilbur already on the text line at 888-368-1580. Saying, I hate the Padres, but I hate the Dodgers 1,000 times more. Go Padres. King of Kittens, go Padres, suck it, Ralph. Wow. All right, so the fourth dimension at 888-368-1580. A lot to talk about today, Keon. It's a normal full show today. But before we get too far invested in today's show, let me bring to you a couple of items that we'll be giving away. We've got 2 tickets plus parking passes, or a parking pass for tonight's game, 7:30 for ASU hockey. 2 tickets plus a parking pass for tonight's game out at ASU for ASU hockey. We'll be giving that away. Their next home game is November 9th, so you might want to go out to tonight's game. They won't be back until the second week of November against Central Florida's got a hockey team.
Yeah, man. It's a big school. And in your big school, it doesn't matter what state you're in, you
have a hockey team.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that, you know, people, I'm sure someone is in Orlando right now going, ASU's got a hockey team? Aren't they in a desert?
Are they?
I am sure, because it's 100.
People in Orlando right now are probably trying to clean up after 2 different hurricanes that hit within the last month.
Yeah. Well, if they're still doing sports radio in Orlando, they're probably still doing sports radio. That would be my guess.
Okay. I know there's a couple of people on the text line that are NASCAR fans, and we will have several pairs. This is the way it was written to me from Radio Ron, the owner of CRC Broadcasting. He has procured several pairs of reserved grandstand tickets to give away on this very radio station for NASCAR Championship Weekend. That would be for the November 8th Friday night Craftsman Truck Series Championship. That'll be Friday night. And also these several pairs of reserved grandstand tickets to give away for the November 9th Xfinity Series Championship. That is on Saturday, November 9th, Xfinity Series Championship. Listen, we're going to be talking about that maybe a little today on the radio program. You know, your hometown track is it has hosted the NASCAR Championship for the past several years, and we have here at the big radio station, we have procured tickets for the Friday night and Saturday day a race. And these are not just these are not chintzy tickets that where you can't see anything. These are reserved grandstand tickets, Jack. And that's something that we'll be giving away when Jeffco gets back. Apparently, according to Ron, Jeffrey is returning. We also want to talk a little playoff baseball. We've got a way for you to watch ASU take on Utah. Let's see. There's some NCAA basketball news we're going to talk about. Keon Rose's college football dance party coming along the way here. Dr. Jeffrey's injury report for you NFL fantasy football owners. I'll kind of tease it. Some people are coming back, and some people are injured and will not be starting. Interesting. On this date in Big Georgia sports history and much more. So, Keon, I know it's a long day for you. Let's get underway here. ASU in action tonight against number 16 Utah. Utah coming into the Inferno in Tempe. Keep wanting to say Inferno at ASU. Both teams are 1-1 in conference play. Both teams are 4-1 overall. It's tonight, 8:30 Mountain Standard Time kickoff at the Inferno in Tempe. If you can't make it out there, it will be on ESPN, I understand. And they're talking about at kickoff, temperatures in the mid-90s. I mean, come on. It's right now 102. And you're inside that stadium. It's like a convection oven.
And I believe the opposing sideline is, well, they get the sun. Yeah. So yeah. You're on the shade side if you're on the ASU side.
So Utah coming in. The Utes have had 2 weeks to stew on their loss to Arizona and fix some pertinent issues to their offense. Meaning, I guess Cam Rising. There's been some scuttlebutt about Cam Rising actually playing football for the Utah Utes. Now, Cam Rising, is he 40 now? Is he like 38 or 40 now?
Something like that. He's actually older than 6 starting NFL quarterbacks right
now. So he's older than a head coach of the Sun Devils. I know that. And He'll be starting tonight. My understanding is I have nothing to confirm that.
Yeah, I was hearing the CBS report that earlier. So, yeah, seems like Rising's going to get the start tonight.
All right. So, according to Action Network's Brett McMurphy, Cam Rising making his return, missing the last he says 3.5 games. I say 3.5 years. But that's just me. He's expected to start, and they're actually calling him a senior.
I mean, because there's nothing beyond that, and I guess he could technically qualify as a senior if getting AARP benefits is part of the deal. Because he's, I beg Cam Rising to go start his family already. Go live his life. Start his career.
Yeah, go sell some insurance.
And let the 18, 19, and 20-year-olds play. You have been in this for 7 years. And I believe we were doing Beat the Book earlier. Baker's Cocky Hens mentioned during our time on that show that he has yet another year of eligibility after this one.
How does this happen?
He keeps getting hurt, and then he doesn't play, and then he's got plenty of eligibility left.
Somebody's got to review these rules.
Well, the people who would review those rules are bad at their jobs. So that's how we got here. That, and of course, he's incentivized by NIL to just keep coming back. He gets paid.
Man. Well, ASU has a secret weapon, Cam Skattebo. Of course, Sam Levitt, the quarterback for the Sun Devils, had a big game last week. This week, they're expecting both Levitt and Cam Skattebo to take care of business against the Utah Utes. Arizona State University, in case you missed it, is 4-1 overall, 1-1 in conference play. Nobody expected him to do this. ASU was picked to be last in the Big 12. Shocker, they're not last.
They're like fifth.
So that game is going to be tonight at 8:30 Mountain Standard Time as kickoff at the Inferno in Tempe. If you can't make the game, you can watch it on the ESPN regular, I guess. It's not on like ESPN2 or ESPNU or ESPNW or ESPN College or ESPN3 or the Ocho. It's on ESPN. And Cam Rising will be playing, according to all reports. Coach Kyle Whittingham says they're playing well, 4-1, impressed with a lot of things about their football team. They're much more productive offensively this year than they were able to be last year. Tailback is a tough, hard-nosed guy, some good receivers, just very productive on offense. Quarterback's definitely a dual threat, so we've got our work cut out for us, end quote. Kenny Dillingham says, unfortunately, you play a Friday night game, and Utah is off a bye, so I don't know how we got a schedule where we have 6 days. They have a bye week, but it's possibly the worst scenario you could ever ask for.
That is a fact.
Don't know how that happened. Anyway, in case you want to catch up, ASU plays Utah tonight. Then they have a bye October 5th. Wait a minute. That's Utah's schedule. I thought that was ASU's schedule. I put the wrong schedule on here. Utah plays ASU tonight. They play TCU next week. They play Houston. They're at Houston on the 26th. And then they have another bye on November 2nd. Is that what I'm reading here? There are 2 byes in college football?
Yeah, the teams have been using a couple of bye weeks this year. I'm guessing because of the extended season. Seasons are starting earlier and making room for the college football playoff. So
then they come off another bye and they face BYU, and then they're at Colorado, and then they're at Iowa State, and they finish up on Fox November 29th at UCF. Later on in the show, it's Keon Rose's college football dance party. And we'll talk a little about this. We'll get Keon's thoughts about tonight's game and see what he thinks. But I have to tell you, I don't think this is cool. But
it isn't. No. And I think that's a good point that Kenny Dillingham is making without going so far as to get himself, in trouble or seeming like a sore loser. But like that really isn't fair. You have not even half as long as your opponent did to prepare for this game.
Well, you know what? Kenny Dillingham, get Cam Scattaboo, pull him off to the side and just say, you just truck these guys, truck stick these guys.
It's going to be
Is that
tough.
still a saying? Is that still a saying, truck stick?
I still use it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what everybody else does. I still use it.
Bruno Baller on the text line at 888-368-1580. Welcome, Bruno Baller, to the Friday Daily Blender. Randy, sometime today, could we get a weather report? Because I'm looking at the forecast. Looks like we have some relief in the future. Yes, we do.
Please say yes. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
by
goodness.
by Sunday, the hundreds will float away as if they're a bad memory.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
I was talking to a guy today about it, and he's just like, isn't this wonderful, this fall weather we have here in Arizona? And I said, you moved here from somewhere, didn't you? Baker's Cocky Hens says, who the hell scheduled a hockey and football game on the same night at home? This is U of A stupid. Is it though? I think it's stupid like a fox.
I mean, I guess, but the traffic is going to be, listen, if you're going to either game, the hockey game or the football game, leave early because you will be sitting in your car for a good long time. That would be my guess.
Don't forget, we've got tickets to the hockey game tonight to give away, and we'll be doing that sometime today on the Daily Blender. So be listening. Don't leave that radio. We've got tickets to give away. Let's see here. Mr. Wilbur says, I agree with King of Kittens. Suck it, Ralph, and your stupid little sea chickens. Oh, that's right. Geno Smith probably will get the comeback player of the year again for the second half of the season.
Why? Even as a joke, why? Like, jokes do have to make sense.
He's blind.
Yeah, but your sense of humor is not affected by your eyesight.
I think it is.
I mean, if he's the only case study, then I don't really have much to argue here, but that, Mr. Wilbur, why?
Sir Drives a Lot says 105-degree weather and Cam Rising both need to just go away.
It's what they have in common.
Well, Sun Devils play tonight, and we'll see how they leave the valley. And the 100-degree temperatures will be leaving here this weekend. So stand by. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. Big George. Hello, gentlemen. Happy Friday, TGIF. Well. It all comes down to tonight. Dodgers v. Padres in Game 5 of the NLDS. Winner moves on to the NLCS. Loser goes home. Please. Let it be the Dodgers that go home. Big George, are you going to the game tonight? I thought he was.
I think he went to one of the games. I don't know if he was going to this.
I thought he was going tonight.
Let us know, BG.
Yeah, BG. I like that.
Yeah.
Sir Drives a Lot back on the text line saying that Mr. Wilbur, part of telling a joke is reading the room. But see, that's the problem. Wow.
That's
17 minutes in the show and it's already begun.
It's already begun. And I just want the record again to show you're not pitting that joke on me. I merely laughed at it. I did not tell that joke.
No, sir. It drives a lot. Part of the telling the joke is reading the room. He can't read the room.
It's oh boy.
Cardinal Art is on the text line. Boy, Randy, it's going to be hot for them boys from Utah. It's going to be hotter than bacon grease out there. Can we please have a kickoff weather forecast report on the ASU game and a nice cold one, Randy? I'll tell you what, let's take a break. When we come back, I'll give you a weather report, a kickoff weather report, and I'll give you that cold one, Cardinal Art. And we will continue on with more. Got lots to talk about today. some playoff baseball, and I don't know. Hell's bells. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
College football tonight, Arizona State at home against Utah. The Utes are ranked number 16 in the AP poll. Both teams at 4-1. Arizona State, a 5.5-point home underdog, plus 190, while Utah is minus 225 on the money line with an over-under of 46.5. Arizona on the road to face number 14 BYU. The Cougars are a 3.5-point home favorite, minus 150 on the money line. The Wildcats, who are 3-2 on the season, are plus 130. The over/under in Provo at 48.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hey, sports bettors, Jeffrey O'Brien here to tell you about my favorite sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS.com. Football's back, so it's time to get in on the action. I endorse one sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS. If you want a game plan to win this season, then check out BetUS. BetUS went large for you this season with a huge offer, a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. That's right, 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. BetUS offers value other sportsbooks simply don't offer. Gamblers insurance, crypto bonuses, and casino bonuses. Plus, they have all the products you need. Competitive odds, parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and prop betting. And when you're ready to lay down your bet, give your bet an edge. Why not combine your sign-up bonus with knowledge? Get that knowledge with expert analysis, picks, and predictions on all major sports on their very own BetUS TV. Get started today at BetUS.com or give them a call at 1-800-MyBetUS. BetUS, where the game begins.
4 years. That's how long it took Democrats to ruin our economy and plunge our southern border into anarchy. Who helped them hurt us? Ruben Gallego. Washington could have cut taxes for Arizona families, but Ruben blocked the bill. And his fellow Democrats gave a bigger break to the millionaire class in California and New York. They played favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have secured the border. Instead, they invited an invasion and used our tax dollars to pay for it. Ruben Gallego even backed a law to let them vote in our elections. Don't give Gallego and the Democrats another 4 years to hurt us. Give your support to a real Arizona leader, Kari Lake. Kari and the Republicans will secure the border, support our families, and never turn their backs on us. Kari Lake for Senate.
I'm Kari Lake, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Kari Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, as we are efforting our way until 6 p.m. tonight. Don't forget, a whole slate of football this weekend, starting with 6:15 on Sunday morning. Another London game. Are you liking these London games? Jacksonville v. Chicago, 6:15 Sunday morning. You can hear it live here on the Fanatic. Are you, Keon? Are you liking these London games?
Some of the games, some of the London games over time have been good, but I don't like that they're in London. That doesn't make me happy. The field conditions have been varied throughout their time doing.
They're playing on games. that beautiful soccer turf,
which is not the same quality every time they go, because sometimes they're in Tottenham Stadium, sometimes they're in the other one. They've been to Germany. The German stadium was not, I don't know, the grass, there's a lot of players slipping and sliding. The quality of it didn't seem particularly great. Guys were saying it felt like they were being, hit on concrete. It just, it mixed results for the international games. And I don't like them generally. And also, I don't wake up for most of these. I'll be 100% honest. If I do, I turn on the 1580 The Fanatic app and I listen to the game in bed. I do not get out of bed for these games.
You listen to the game in bed.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
There's a slate, an entire slate of football this weekend. Of course, I said the UK game. It's Jacksonville in London, taking on the Chicago Bears. And then it's going to be the Chargers at Broncos. That's at 1 p.m. our time. Chargers, Broncos. And then Sunday night football, Cincinnati Bengals at the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants. Cincinnati it needs to turn things around. New York, you just don't know what you're going to get. It's sort of like a surprise, like one of those grab bags. You ever had one of those grab bags, Keon, where you pay like $5 and you get a grab bag and you're all excited about what you get, and usually it's nothing cool. You ever get anything like that?
No, I haven't. But
you've never gone to like a carnival or like an office pool or anything?
I have.
Surprise!
I guess I just never got the grab bag while I was there.
All right. Well, and then Monday Night Football is Buffalo at the New York Football Jets. That's at 4:30 Monday afternoon. The blender will be interrupted again. Oh, darn. Sorry about that.
What a shame.
What a shame. Yeah. Well, duty calls. I said duty. That's Monday here on the big station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. Let's get a weather report. It's hot. My God, it's 102 right now. And somewhere else, it's 8. I think it's 77 in Munns Park right now. 77 in Munns Park. We're calling for hot weather at kickoff tonight. It's going to be around 90 degrees at the Inferno in Tempe. Wind very kind of calm. It's out of the west-southwest at 4 miles an hour with gusts up to 7 miles. Humidity at 14%. Barometric pressure at 29.86 and falling. And we are currently 11 degrees above average with our daily high every day. 11 degrees hotter. You can see for 25 or more miles. And again, it's 102 right now in Phoenix, 101 in Scottsdale. So a little cooler out there where you're at, Keon. And like I said, up in Munns Park, 77 degrees. And they wanted something else. They wanted there they go. Hey, a drink for them. All right, 888-368-1580. That's the text line. I don't know if you saw this, Keon, but Davy Roberts is whining.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen him.
Under the current MLB playoff format, division winners continue to be dropped like so many foul pop-ups in the stands in the National League. Philadelphia and Milwaukee already gone. The American League, Houston is dead. Cleveland trailing Detroit. The Los Angeles Dodgers are hanging on by a thread as they enter the game tonight against the San Diego Padres. Davy Roberts, the head coach of the whining LA Dodgers, it says right now I wish it were 7 games. Obviously, the 7-game series certainly gives us a better test. Hear what he says now. Better test of the opponents. We'll see if we can work on that, but I definitely like the 7-game series for sure. Is that whining? I think it is.
It is. I mean,
they got swept by the Diamondbacks last year. This year, they're hanging on by a heartbeat. They got it back to Chavez Ravine, but clearly they should have, according to their payroll and their lineup, they should have thumped the Padres. But one game, winner take all, Dodgers, Padres tonight, Chavez Ravine.
It's look, he doesn't, I don't think he's completely without a point, but the fact with him is, the results that the Dodgers have had over the years have been disappointing. And that is before this, before this layoff, like you got beaten by a lot of teams that you should have taken out over the years and you didn't get it done. This can't be the only reason. And I don't know what message it sends to the guys in that locker room when, this is you making excuses instead of saying, hey guys, this is the game. We go out, we win it. We have a chance. We take it all. Just go and play the best baseball that you can play, because when you do, it will look like what it looked like in Game 4. That's what I would be telling those guys right now. I wouldn't be worried about, well, what about the layoff and all this other stuff? But I also understand that, and I think Moist One actually mentioned this earlier in the week, if he gets eliminated, this is kind of him just covering his ass a little bit. He might end up getting fired over this. So why not get ahead of it and start complaining about it now so that everybody knows, hey, this isn't your fault. Look, hey, Davey Roberts, he's right. Look at these other teams that got eliminated after this layover.
I think that this is the wrong time for Davey Roberts to bring this up.
I agree. Even if you're asked about it, I still think that you've got a politician that answer, because it just sounds like an excuse. And you haven't lost the series yet. It's not over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sounds like he's already lost the series.
Yeah, like are you planning on going home? If you're not, get it together and win your game.
Well, I mean, you're exactly right, Keon. What does this say to your clubhouse? What does this say to the guys in the clubhouse? Our manager has given up. Our coach has given up. We're already defeated. And, Freddie Freeman, he's got that ankle injury. You could look at a million different excuses, but you don't hear San Diego looking at excuses. You look at San Diego saying we're ready to play. And we're going to go to Chavez Ravine. And this is Game 5, winner take all. And we intend to take it all.
And I could be wrong about this because I didn't watch every single coaching interview. But like the managers that did get eliminated who were on teams that were favorites that are now sitting at home, I didn't hear them making those complaints before their Game 5s either. Maybe after. If you get eliminated and you want to make your excuses after, sure, go on right ahead. Before the game, that feels weird to me. I don't like that.
I don't like it either. And I think if given the opportunity, which I'll never have this opportunity, if I was the manager of the Dodgers and I was in this situation, somebody asked me this question, I think I'd Bill Belichick the thing. We're on to Game 5. We're talking about the Padres coming into our house. What do we have to do to win Game 5? That's the way I would answer that question. This question is ridiculous to be asking right now. Then at the winter meetings, when I show up there, if I still have a job, then I will address this question. Do I think this is a fair medium for Major League Baseball's playoff? Well, I mean, I personally don't feel that way. I mean, but where I sit, I like this. This is giving diversity to the playoffs. This is giving other teams an opportunity to go in and show what they have, AKA the Diamondbacks just last season.
And it's also a different test for each team. The team that is getting to that point in the playoffs where they're playing the team with the bye, they're being tested by an actual opponent. Your test as the team with the bye is to stay ready, and that is its own challenge, but you're a manager. That's what they pay you to do. Figure out how to get your guys ready, because it's not like every single team on the bye week lost. Some of them found a way to get through to the other side.
100% agree with that, Keon. 100% agree with that. It's your responsibility to make sure this team is ready to play ball and not sit up there at some press conference and give some sort of an answer like this. Right now, I wish it were 7 games. I bet you do. If it were 7 games, you might still have a chance. Right now, I wish it were 7 games. Obviously, the 7-game series certainly gives, you might as well put us a better test of the opponents, us a better chance on winning. That's what he's trying to say. We'll see if we can work on that, but I definitely like the 7-game series for sure. End quote.
Hey, listen, all I know is if I am San Diego right now and I'm in that locker room trying to fire up the Padres players and I hear that out there, I'm using that. These guys think they're going home. These guys think that they need 2 more games to get us out of here. Let's send them packing. They've already quit. There's a little bit of psychology in this. That's part of being a manager. That's one of the cool things about baseball is how much psychology matters. And Davey Roberts just either doesn't care or is unaware of how his words are going to land with people, because that stuff is going to stick in your locker room. It just does.
Is it me, or this follow-up question really rubbed you the wrong way too? The follow-up question was, would it be a remedy for, quote, sitting around those 5 days, end quote? And Davey Roberts' answer was, quote, no doubt, absolutely, end quote. What do you mean sitting around for 5 days?
What, I mean, that tells us what you were doing.
You paid $750 million to put this lineup together, and your ass is sitting around for 5 days. You're not studying. You don't have the team out there working on weaknesses. You don't have the training staff working on guys' injuries, helping them get healthy for 5 days.
And then, of course, the guys that you think, because this is not the first time that this has happened to the Dodgers. Okay, so this is not even your first rodeo at very specifically this. You don't throw a hard practice in there just to keep guys moving. Like there are solutions to this that you can try. If sitting around for 5 days didn't work for you last year, definition of insanity there, Mr. Roberts, is going out there and sitting around for 5 more days the next year.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just don't get it. That's all I was going to say. Just don't get it.
$750 million to assemble this team. And the answer that he has to, would this be a remedy for sitting around those 5 days? No doubt. Absolutely. Are you kidding me right now? These guys have nothing more to do than play baseball and make tons and loads of money. And you have the audacity to come and answer these questions right now when you are faced with a game 5? It's the worst thing I've ever heard.
And he's too experienced a manager. He's too good of a manager to sit there and say that. That's the part that's disappointing to me, is if Davey Roberts was a scrub of a manager, if he was a bum of a manager, then we're probably not even having this conversation right now, to be honest with you. But he's been a consistently good manager over the course of his career with the Dodgers. He's won a bunch of games.
I mean, but the only problem I have there is, has he been a good manager, or has he had great teams?
He hasn't gotten it done in the postseason. But yeah, I think we've seen managers waste the talent of great teams too in the regular season. Teams that should be moving on pretty much blow up on the launch pad. I mean, look at how much money the Mets spent a few years ago, and they didn't go anywhere or do anything. You know, like that is what happens if your manager has talent, but he's not any good. That's not the case with Davey Roberts. So he's got to start acting like the manager that he is, and he's just not doing it. Not sure why.
Text line humming along here. Harry Soap says Tommy Lasorda would have slapped Roberts if he were alive. And I heard that best of 7 series comment. Yeah, I know. It sounds like he's throwing his hands up. Oh, we sat around for 5 days and got healthy, and we came out and crapped the bed. Big George says, this is par for the course for the Dodgers, whining about every little thing and not holding each other accountable, always somebody else's fault. Let's hope the Dodger fans keep it classy and don't throw things at the Padres players. Well, I mean, I don't know what one has to do with the others.
Well, like COVID, the COVID year, if you just go ahead and leave that one to the side because it's a controversial one. This is the Dodgers going back many years, going all the way back to 2013. Lost in the NLDS last year, lost in the NLDS the year before, lost in the NLCS in 21, lost in the NLDS in 2019, lost in the World Series in 2018, lost in the World Series in 2017, lost in the NLCS in 2016, lost in the NLDS in 2015, lost in the NLDS in 2014, lost in the NLCS in 2013.
Wow.
This trend of the Dodgers not being good enough goes back further than this bye week. So I'm not buying it from Davey Roberts. I'm not buying it. It's just too stupid for him to stand there and say that when he has been coming up short more or less every year since 2013.
And look, I'm not doing this because I'm not a Dodger fan. I'm not doing this. I hate excuses. You know what? If you cannot get the job done with a group of players that you have on here, Ohtani has been absolutely miserable this series. Miserable.
With the exception of the game 4.
The rest of the guys on the team Mookie Betts has not shown up again. Freddie Freeman is injured. And the rest of the team, he can't get the job done. $750 million they spent to assemble this team.
$241 million. And you're looking at just the guys that you mentioned. Mookie Betts alone, 30 mil. Freddie Freeman alone, 27 mil. And with Shohei, obviously, we know how his contract is structured. So he doesn't show up in the same way at the top. It's just $2 million this year, and we know how that looks. But we also know that they'll be paying Shohei from now until the end of time, basically. This is what you paid for. And your manager's supposed to be able to take this talent and get you over the top. If you can't get $240 million worth of talent over the top, then at that point, should you be the manager?
And again, please hear my heart. I'm not bagging on the Dodgers. These guys, they have a great team. Shohei Ohtani is a wonderful player. Mookie Betts, one of my favorites to play the game of baseball. I think the guy hustles. He gives everything he has to the game. Freddie Freeman, I enjoy watching Freddie Freeman. He's so graceful playing first base. He's so graceful the way he hits the ball. But, I mean, don't come out here now that you're down to the last game with the possibility of, again, missing the NLCS with this payroll that you have and start talking about, pining for, I wish it was 7 games. Why? So that the misery would go on longer for you, Davey? And I like Davey Roberts. I like him. I don't think he's a bad dude.
Exactly. And that's why I was trying to give him his credit earlier. But, man, you've fallen apart in 7-game series before. I just read you the whole history. There's some 7-game series in there that Davey Roberts just didn't finish the job. So how am I supposed to believe that would fix all your problems now?
Coming into tonight's game, it was a bullpen game last game. I don't know what he's going to do tonight. I'll be honest with you. An elimination game, and you didn't save any arms with the kind of injuries that you've had on this team in the bullpen, and you didn't save any arms. You just went out there. I know it was an elimination game. You had to win it. But, I mean, you come into this game, and everybody's been used now. I mean, if you win and you use the bullpen, now what are you going to do?
Yeah, and I think they're running Yamamoto out there tonight, and Yamamoto, of all the pitchers, has had the least amount of success against the Padres in particular. This is it. Look, he better win tonight. He better win tonight because he may not be the manager of the Dodgers next year.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We've got to take a break. That just blows my mind. The text line is open. you Dodger fans, what do you think? 888-368-1580. When we come back, we will finish off hour one with another playoff game that's been, because of inclement weather, another playoff game that's been moved. And how big is the fact that Davey Roberts used a whole bunch of guys in their bullpen to stave off elimination in San Diego just a couple of nights ago? We'll talk about it next on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
After 3 years of legalized sports betting, something completely new is now live in Arizona. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here, and I'd like to introduce you to SportTrade. SportTrade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's going to change in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, SportTrade is your new home. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. Even if you're an experienced bettor and you prefer American odds, you'll love seeing odds closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110 offered just about everywhere else, coupled with near instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. Download SportTrade on your iPhone today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
SportTrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
4 years. That's how long it took Democrats to ruin our economy and plunge our southern border into anarchy. Who helped them hurt us? Ruben Gallego. Washington could have cut taxes for Arizona families, but Ruben blocked the bill. And his fellow Democrats gave a bigger break to the millionaire class in California and New York. They played favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have secured the border. Instead, they invited an invasion and used our tax dollars to pay for it. Ruben Gallego even backed the law to let them vote in our elections. Don't give Gallego and the Democrats another 4 years to hurt us. Give your support to a real Arizona leader, Kari Lake. Kari and the Republicans will secure the border, support our families, and never turn their backs on us. Kari Lake for Senate.
I'm Kari Lake, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Kari Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GAME to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The most important event in sports could happen at any time.
Like right now.
Or right now.
Or even now.
Don't miss history. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or at 1580thefanatic.com.
And welcome back to the Friday edition of the Daily Blender as we are concluding hour number one. It's a 3-hour show today. We're going till 6 o'clock. Wes O'Grande says, at least you guys sit around for 5 days. We all learn something. Go Padres. Or at least when you guys sit around for 5 days, we all learn something. Go Padres. Okay. Yes. Okay.
I am glad that you learned something from this show. I can't imagine what that would be, but I'm glad you did.
Let's see. The Jet on the text line at 888-368-1580 says, Randy, I know you love to watch the Dodgers suck. I personally love when they struggle, and I have my fingers crossed that they will lose this next game and don't advance. But then again, I have my own struggles. I'm a season ticket holder for the Cardinals, and I've only seen them win 3 games while I was there. And this weekend, I'm going to Green Bay to watch them play. And I'm sure we'll get stopped. I don't know how sure you can be about that. Jed, I think that the daggum birds of prey are going to fly into a Lambeau Field and make cheese whiz out of the cheeseheads.
I did pick the Packers to win that game, but
that's unfortunate.
I'm not going to act like there's no avenue to victory here for the Cardinals. There is. Specifically, the Packers like to bring a lot of pressure. And Kyler Murray is actually the second best quarterback in the league against pressure. He completes 62% of his passes under pressure, which is kind of incredible. Also, the Jordan Love experience is a rocky road. And if we get the Jordan Love, the bad Jordan Love, that is an open door, I think, for the Cardinals to have a shot at winning this game.
I don't need a bad Jordan Love this weekend.
You may not need it, but you might get it. I mean, it's a roller coaster. You might get it whether you need it, want it, or not.
This is one of those weekends for fantasy football where my team is decimated. I've got guys on bye this week. The Rams are on bye this week. I've got guys that are on the IR now. I won't see for 4 weeks. Nico Collins is on the IR. So, I mean, it's 6 one way, half dozen the other for me. If the Cardinals win, which I expect 56-1, is what I said on this very radio program yesterday. And there's just cheese whiz oozing out of the exits there at Lambeau Field when the Cardinals, the great mighty birds of prey, are finished with the Green Bay cheese whiz. Then you will know I will be happy. Somewhere I will have lighted a nice cigar. And I will be enjoying that victory cigar.
I can imagine it already.
Jonesy says, what's funny about baseball is you can spend the most money on the best players, but it doesn't guarantee anything. Shows how hard the sport is. Betts hasn't shown up this series. He hit a home run last game in a huge playoff game. Extremely hard thing to do. I'm not a Dodger fan, by the way. Go Snakes. I like that, Jonesy. That's good. That's a good take right there. I like that, Jonesy. That's exactly what I'm saying. You can spend $750 million and put together what you think is a world championship roster and yet still not deliver. I just feel like there's too much money in the Dodger organization. Instead of going out and buying championships like the Yankees do. Notice what the Yankees have not done in the past, 2 decades now?
We're getting to 2, I think. Yeah.
Win a championship. Okay, they're on to the ALCS. I don't expect them to move on, I'll be honest with you.
And the Yankees are spending, by the way, nearly as much money as the Dodgers are. I think they managed to win their series. I don't think they're complaining about the bye week. You know,
I haven't heard that. No.
And the feel good story that the Mets are, you know.
Oh my gosh.
The Mets are spending nearly as much money. They have the second highest payroll in baseball, and they're only $3 million short of what the Dodgers are spending. But they got it done. They advanced. Like the excuses have to stop when you're at $250 million. Like you just don't have a disadvantage. You don't.
Well, I mean, all it took for the Mets it was to have Grimace show up at one of the fields.
Apparently,
what does that tell you about the Mets? Total gluttons. What's his name? The Panda Bear. He hasn't shown up yet. Is it Panda Bear? Is it what is Pete Alonso? Is he the Panda Bear?
Actually, don't.
No, he's not the Panda. He's something else. Fifth letter says, "Burn in hell, Dodgers! Burn in hell, Padres! Go Halos! We run Southern." Just stop right there.
You
just stop.
What
Halos run Southern California?
Running it from where?
Home, apparently.
Like every year.
Mm.
Like every year. Like this is not the time of year to talk trash to your crosstown rivals when they're competing to move on in the playoffs and you haven't seen the playoffs in God knows how long. I don't even remember now.
It's pretty funny. You're right, Harry Soap. Exactly right. Hearing Keon naming off the Dodgers' recent playoff failures, their participation trophy case must be very impressive.
Has to be. I mean,
are they going to put like banners up like we almost made it here, 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 here? You know, like the Lakers did.
Yeah, remember that year those years we nearly won the World Series back to back. It's like there's no almost back to back. You just lost 2 years in a row.
Thank you, NFL Blitzer. It's the polar bear. That's Pete Alonso.
No,
thank you.
I did not know that.
Golden Domer says he's known as a grizzly bear. No. No, he's not a big old grizzly bear. Fifth letter. Okay, my fault. Well, it's still burn it hell, Dodgers. Go Raiders. I'd love to see the Raiders get better. I really would.
I think there might be an Antonio Pierce you might have to get rid of to see that, though. I had high hopes for him, but
I did too.
He's not looking like the guy.
The Latina Leprechaun is on the text line at 888-368-1580. As a former San Francisco Giants fan, I know the panda bear was Pablo Sandoval. I love that cuddly teddy bear. You mean Pablo
Panda.
Sandoval?
Yeah.
Or
Kung Fu Panda. Pablo
Kung
Sandoval.
Fu Panda. Huh? Golden Domer says, no, it's Pooh Bear. No, it's not Pooh Bear. It's not Grizzly Bear.
Oh, man.
By the way, Keon, this is a sad day in the White House. Miss Kim had to do away with a favorite coffee mug.
Uh-oh.
We had a ceremony this morning.
Uh-oh.
It was one of her favorite coffee mugs. She's a big Winnie the Pooh fan. And she had a coffee mug that she's had for, I think she said 30 years.
Oh, man.
And something happened after she had cleaned the dishwasher. And the next load in, this cup was in the dishwasher and it faded it. And it took all the protective thing, whatever that film is they put on there, not film, but it's some sort of sealant to keep it all bright and colorful. Guess it took all that off and faded it out. So today she did a burial in the trash can.
No.
It was hard.
It's a shame.
It was tough for her.
It's a shame.
Big
Thoughts
George,
and prayers.
Thank you. I'll pass that along. Big George says all the national talking heads who are based out of New York talking about the prospect of a Subway Series in the World Series. Please don't let that happen, universe. We already got enough pro-New York sports talk. We don't need it, man. Wow, Big George, calm down.
And you'll have the second and third payrolls going against each other in the World Series if that happens.
Sir Drives a lot. Who's Cup? Who are you talking about? R.I.P. the Cup.
The I guess
Cup?
Miss Kim's cup.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coffee cup. Yes. Thank you. I'll pass that along to Miss Kim. All right. That's hour one down and in the can, as we like to say. Hour two next over most of these same radio stations. It's a Daily Blender on 1580 The Fanatic.
After 3 years of legalized sports betting, something completely new is now live in Arizona. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here, and I'd like to introduce you to SportTrade. SportTrade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's going to change in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, SportTrade is your new home. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. Even if you're an experienced bettor and you prefer American odds, you'll love seeing odds closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110 offered just about everywhere else, coupled with near instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. Download SportTrade on your iPhone today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
Sport Trade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. And always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
For what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
And welcome everybody to hour number 2 of this Daily Blender on this Friday. As we broadcast live from the Harman Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Right over there, the sexiest man in sports talk radio. That's Keon Rose. Keep that name at the forefront of your mind, because when it comes to broadcasting, he is the sexiest man among us all. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien on vacation. Be back. Hopefully this month. I'd love to. I have like a gift for his birthday. It's coming up this month. You are the fourth dimension, texting in at 888-368-1580. And we are in the midst of talking a little playoff baseball. But I want to remind you, sometime during the show here, I will ask for a caller to call in, and you can get yourself 2 tickets plus a parking pass to tonight's ASU Sun Devils hockey game, the Snow Devils. I don't think that's really the name, though. I think we should name them the Snow Devils, don't you?
It's kind of cool.
Or the Ice Devils, maybe. The Ice Devils. They play in the microwave. That ASU. See what I mean? You see it? That is all coming together here. Anyway, the Sun Devil hockey team in action. By the way, Sun Devil hockey is pretty damn good. That program went all the way to the final. The Frozen Four. A couple of seasons ago. So you're going to see some good hockey. Not like when the Coyotes were in town. You're going to see some good damn hockey there at the Mullet Arena in Tempe, otherwise known as the Microwave in Tempe. I like it. The football stadium's the Inferno, and the Mullet Arena's the Microwave. You think that'll fly, Keon?
It could work. It could work. We've got to put it out there so people catch on to it. But it could.
Well,
work.
I mean, I don't think like the smokeless fireplace. I don't think that would work. See what I'm saying?
It's a little work.
Yeah, it's a little. But if you call it the Microwave in Tempe, and you really got to sell it, I'm sorry. It's a long day for you, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good.
Tonight's game, 2 tickets plus a parking pass to go see the Sun Devils in action in the microwave. Also, don't forget, next time Jeffrey's on the radio, which needs to be sometime before the NASCAR championship weekend, which we were a big part of, by the way. Our friends over at Phoenix Raceway have hooked us up with several pairs of reserved grandstand tickets, and we'll be giving it away to you, the Fourth Dimension, for NASCAR Championship Weekend. We've got several pairs of reserved grandstand tickets to the Friday Night Craftsman Truck Series Championship race and the Saturday Xfinity Series Championship. If you have not experienced, if you're a NASCAR fan and you've not experienced the Craftsman Truck Series, I have to tell you, that is some of the funnest racing there is. I mean, okay, the Cup cars are a lot of fun, and there's a lot of money there, and that's exciting, blah, 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 blah. And maybe you get the trucks out there, and you get guys out there that are 16, 17 years old, and they're racing. Oh, my God, things get crazy. Anyway, we've got tickets to watch the championship series for the Craftsman Truck Championship or the Xfinity Series on Saturday, which is a lot of fun as well. We were talking about Davey Roberts whining about the format of playoff baseball. When I think he has now decimated the Dodgers. They're not going to go out and win the game tonight. I think the Royals or the Padres probably will. The Royals are at home watching. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, the Yankees shortstop. Some of you maybe know Anthony Volpe. The Yankees shortstop is whining after the Yankees win against the Royals. Anthony Volpe is whining about a moment during one of the games where Volpe applied a tag to a Royals base runner, Mikhail Garcia, and that was at second base, and he is blaming Garcia of a late slide. He made contact with Garcia in the upper body. The scene escalated afterwards. Volpe's teammates, Garrett Cole and Jazz Chisholm. You know what, Garrett Cole? Sit down. Take a seat. You don't belong out there. You're a pitcher. Pitchers don't get involved in brawls, period. And Jazz Chisholm both seemed to take exception at Garcia's conduct. It was what Volpe says. It was a late slide. You know what? This is baseball. And if he went in late, it was trying to break up a play. This is called baseball. And if Ralph were here right now, he'd be saying the same thing. Get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it. This is what baseball is. When I was taught baseball, I was taught you go in, you don't put your spikes up. You never put your spikes up. You don't want to hurt anybody, but you go in late and you try to slide and then roll into that guy coming across the bag to break up a double play.
Yeah, I looked it up because I saw the quote and I looked up the clip of the play. I assumed from the way that Anthony Volpe described it that it was the dirtiest play in the history of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would have thought it was Buster Posey being broken in half all over again. And instead, no, that's a routine baseball play. That is, if nobody mentioned anything, if, Volpe doesn't get up and get into, start John and talking and everything else, you probably don't even remember the play. It doesn't stand out at all. It's not exceptional in any way. It's an uninteresting play that the Yankees blew out of proportion because, of course, they did. They're the damn Yankees.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly my point. Get over it. Go back to the bench. Go back to New York City. Have a deli sandwich and shut up, please. He says, I'm sure that Garcia's just being a sore loser. No, he's not. He's playing baseball. And the game ain't over until the game's over. And you keep working as hard as you can to it's like all the stuff that I say about that guy from San Diego that when Kurt Schilling had a no-no going, and in the ninth inning, the catcher comes up and he bunts for a base hit. I mean, like, that's just ridiculous. But hey, he's trying to keep the game alive. While the game is still going, there's still a chance of his team winning. So I don't blame him for going up there and bunting. I think it's chicken, but hey, whatever you got to do, man. Keep the game going. But the Yankee, oh no, he slid in there. Can almost see the crybabies right now.
His cleats weren't even.
No,
they weren't up. In fact,
no.
His cleats weren't really a part of the play at all. His upper body made contact with Volpe.
Yeah. Pickle D says it almost looks like Volpe tries to punch him with an unnecessary follow through with his right hand. Well, you know what?
I would say not almost. He puts his forearm out at head level.
Yeah, he's trying. Well, I think he was trying to jar the ball loose, and it's no different, by the way, than A-Rod when he was running to first base and slapped the glove of the first baseman, trying to get the first baseman to drop the ball. Anybody remember that? So take it to the bench and have a seat.
Like if anybody did something wrong, I actually do agree with that take. If anybody did anything wrong, it's Volpe.
Exactly.
Volpe puts the arm out to his head like he was trying to hit him and use the tag to kind of disguise the hit. I come on, man. Like you've got to be better than that. It's either soft or it's
well,
I don't even know what it is. This is just
I just feel like the Yankees complaining about this is stupid. This should not even be in the news cycle. You know what? This is something you talk about in the clubhouse, and then that's it. And you don't go whining to the press about it. He came in and slid late. Oh, my heart breaks for you.
Aaron Boone says that he's not sure what happened
exactly
in the dust up, and he said if there's any upset over the slide, just go back and show a little Hal McRae and Willie Randolph, and we'll laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
Like there used to be really, really dirty slides in baseball.
Yeah.
This isn't even in the top 1,000.
No.
506 million. It's just. I mean, what are you doing? This is terrible. This is just easily one of the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Pete Rose was famous for going into the bag late. He was famous for doing that, especially if the guy had hit a ground ball in the infield and they were trying to break. He's trying to break up a double play. So poor me.
I mean, I ask Johnny Bench about that.
Yeah,
it's just come on, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, break. Ask Ray Fosse about Pete Rose. Yeah, in an all-star game, he bowls him over. 888-368-1580 is the text line. Moving along here. So this is an interesting thing I want to talk about for a second. A doctor with the Texas Rangers has proposed a radical new MLB rule change to help prevent pitching injuries. Now, this is a guy named Dr. Keith Meister. It's not Keister. It's Keith Meister of the Texas Rangers. He's the head physician and a member of Major League Baseball's task force focused on the sport's widespread arm woes, says that he would like to propose a radical rule change aimed at improving pitcher health, banning two-strike foul balls. So if you have two strikes and you foul it off again, you're out. It's a called strike. If the batter's losing the battle, he's refusing to concede ground. He is a guy that should be out if he fouls the ball off again, and that would cut down on pitch counts, push hitters to put more emphasis on putting balls in play, and shorten games all in one swoop. What's your take on this, Keon?
I think that is one of the most insane things I have ever heard in my life. And I understand that you're trying to protect guys and all of that, but that's an entirely different sport. That's a different game entirely. The strategy between the batters and the pitchers, that's different. That's not even, I don't know, that's not baseball as we know it anymore. That's just such a different game. Could I learn to like that game? Could I learn to enjoy that game? Sure, maybe, probably. But that's just a different game.
He says it's similar to the way that MLB handles fouled off 2-strike bunt attempts, which we know, you and I both know, if you attempt a bunt with 2 strikes and you foul it off, you're out. It's a strikeout. He's saying it's the same thing.
It's not the same thing, though, because if the guy's actually trying to hit the ball in play, and I mean, he's trying to hit a homer, he's trying to maybe get a double or a single, and he fouls it, which can happen, that's not the same thing as a bunt at all. You can't make that argument. I disagree with that. I don't like that rule change at all. And I understand trying to protect players and their arms.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that the players have been getting more injured since we've instituted this pitch clock. That's part of the problem. And I'm not saying
really. You think the pitch clock is part of the problem?
Yeah, because where before you were getting to reset more easily. Now you're rushing your throwing motion, and I think it is leading to more injuries.
Okay. Well, here's what Dr. Meester's point is. He says there were nearly 50,000 2-strike foul balls this season. 50,000. It would also reduce the amount of certain pitch types thrown. He says that designer pitches like a sweeper or a hard changeup for the pitches or the slider. He says those are pitches that are often deployed when there's a strikeout on the line, and pitchers will go to that to try to make the batter swing and miss. 50,000 2-strike foul balls this season. Swinging foul balls.
Yeah, I'm sure, but that's part of baseball. I mean, it's a tough spot because I don't want to argue that in order to keep the game the same, that we throw players to the wolves. But if there's anything to blame here, there's probably a little bit of stuff with the pitch clock, which I think is true, even though I will admit I don't have a ton of evidence to support that. It just seems to be that there's a correlation there. But also, maybe Major League Baseball should have an initiative of when kids are 10, they shouldn't be throwing the ball as hard as they can. And then they shouldn't do that from the time they're 10 to the time that they're 23. That
shouldn't be throwing breaking pitches either.
Yeah, that's probably not good for you. And then as you get older, now your arm's falling apart. And then those pitches are making things worse. But this is not the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is starting when they're kids. And Major League Baseball, if your talent pool is coming from these group of kids, then maybe that's where you start.
Meester's got Max Scherzer on record as saying, you know what? That's not such a bad idea.
Well, yeah, of course the pitchers love it. if you're pitching, oh wow. It's just, when the NFL said, you know what, you can't hit a quarterback below his knees, but you also can't hit him above his shoulders. How many quarterbacks were complaining? Yeah. I'm pretty sure Tom Brady and Peyton Manning were like, that's fantastic. That's a lovely idea. Of course, the pitchers love this. It's not just about protecting their health. Yeah. It makes their job easier because now they know that guy can't just try to stay alive. It makes their at-bats more decisive. Of course, the pitchers are fans of this.
Yeah. Pickle D says, when I was 12, my coach would pull a pitcher from the game if you threw an off-speed pitch. No warnings, zero tolerance. Good for him.
Yeah.
Teach the kid, a young pitcher. If you have a son or a daughter wanting to learn how to pitch, teach him the fastball. Teach him the correct throwing motions. Teach them the safe way to throw a fastball. It doesn't mean get up there and throw it as hard as you can. You have to learn how to throw the thing within control of yourself, and also teach the kid how to throw a nice changeup. Teach the kid how to throw a changeup rather than a breaking pitch. It's much easier on your arm. And if you can teach a kid how to throw a changeup, but it looks like a fastball, they will have way more success in playing Little League Baseball and the like than it will be if you can throw a breaking pitch.
because not to do the whole like back in the day thing, but like it was different. And you can't tell me that the more that we've gotten these youth baseball teams and these travel baseball teams with these parents that push these kids harder and harder, it feels like every year, that's not having an impact on the kinds of players that you're getting, which is that you're getting guys that their arms are almost used up because they haven't really learned, like you said, how to pitch properly. They in fact, I don't even think they've really learned how to listen to their bodies. When your body is telling you you can't throw another pitch like that, you have to be able to back off. And a lot of these kids can't because they don't even know what that feels like.
I see, Chosen One. I see your text. They are coming through, and I just haven't got a chance to talk about your text. But Pull the Plug says, get strikes called by a machine. Umps are prima donnas. Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay, sure, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about protecting the arms of pitchers, and I am not a fan of making that second strike, that if you hit a foul ball, that's just an out for a guy that's actually trying to play the game and actually trying to keep the ball in play.
Fifth Letter says we should just start with a 3-2 count. No, you can't do that. When I was playing beer league ball, they always started with one strike and one ball and one strike. And you came up there. It was designed to not only speed the game up, but it was designed to make some guys would waste a ball to get to the backup ball. Or if they didn't like the ball that was being pitched, they would waste that ball. They would hit it a long way foul, and then they would have to go to the other ball. I mean, I get it. I understand. 50,000 two-strike foul balls. 50,000. You're right, NFL Blitzer. It sounds like beer league softball. Terrible proposal. I mean, yes, but surely there's got to be a way to help protect pitchers. And I don't know if it's the pitch clock. I know there's a lot of expectations on these pitchers nowadays to really spin the ball.
Yeah. So, and look, there's just some people you can't do everything. Every pitcher does not have 100 miles an hour in them. And if they do, they don't all have it for very long. Some people they're just freakish that way, and they can throw 100 miles an hour every time they go out to pitch for just about every pitch and have a long career and they're fine. Other guys, they go out, they throw 100 miles an hour a few times, and maybe that fourth time is a very bad idea. And every player has to know who they are, but they're not being taught differently. They're not being taught like, okay, Johnny, we've seen you throw. That's not you. They're being taught to all throw the ball as hard as humanly possible. That is going to injure more guys.
888-368-1580. Random texter says, I must admit I like Shohei Ohtani a heck of a lot more now for all the things he's doing. If he was doing them as a halo as opposed to a Dodger, I don't understand your text, random texter. I like Shohei Ohtani a heck of a lot more for all the things he's doing right now. If he was doing them as a halo. Oh, I see. If he was still a Anaheim, Orange County, LA Angel. Okay, I got you.
But he wasn't doing those things in the playoffs as an Angel because the Angels.
Hefty Lefty says that averages to about 20 fouls on 2 strikes per game. Does it? Thanks, Chosen One. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're seeing your text. Hang in there. Whistling Gerbil says pitchers would pitch more innings. That doesn't cut the pitch count down. Well, maybe anymore. These guys, it's not pitch count. It's more sabermetrics about who they're facing. And most starting pitchers go 6 innings max anymore.
Maybe.
Unless you're something special. I mean, they're putting these teams together so you have a 7th inning guy, a setup guy, and then you go to your closer. That's the way these teams are building their pitching staffs now, and I think it's ridiculous. I hate to be negative today on a Friday, but I just think it's ridiculous. We got to take a break. When we come back, the MLB has moved one of their playoff games. We'll talk about that on the way. Keon Rose's college football dance party. It's all coming up this hour on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Before you tour a home, the real estate professional you're working with may ask you to sign a buyer's agreement, which describes the services you'll receive, each party's role and responsibilities, and how your agent will be compensated, all of which you'll want to discuss with them up front. So work with an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors with a duty to honestly represent you and put your interests above their own, because that's who we are.
Tommy, I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa. And outrun a few.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. Manufacturer's suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org, sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Welcome back to this Friday edition of the Daily Blender as we get into segment 2 here. The text line is not blowing up. Lots going on. Fifth letters on the text line. What happened to the real men of America? A bunch of pansy with all the rule changes, football and baseball. Well, I mean, does it mean the real men are pansies? I think the commissioner of Major League Baseball was trying to speed the baseball game up. Everybody seems to complain about the length of Major League Baseball games, going longer than 3 hours, when the average NFL game is much longer than 3 hours, but there's a lot more action. Major League Baseball is not that much action. So people have complained, and he got a pitch clock involved. And maybe Keon and I don't agree 100%, but I think it's made the game, have a quicker pace.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue that. Like, to me, the speed of the game was never my issue. So baseball was going to be fun to me regardless. So my complaint on that is my complaint on that. But there's no doubt that it has made the game faster, which is what they wanted, and that's what they got.
Well, they also wanted to have, games not be so long, so they instituted a ghost runner. It drives me crazy when I talk about a ghost runner in extra innings. How do you reconcile the scorebook for that? I would love to talk to Greg Schulte or somebody that's really really good at keeping score in Major League Baseball. Oh my God, how do they do that? That's got to be maddening. And in football, I mean, yeah, I feel like, and this is me, Jeffrey kind of poo-poos this idea, but why don't you just put flags on the quarterbacks since you can't tackle them, you can't touch them. You can't hit them. If you go to block a ball and you happen to fall into them, it's foul. Put flags on the quarterbacks. You can't hit them when they're inbounds. They have to. If they slide, you can't hit them. Put flags on them. I mean, I'm not saying that to be stupid or silly. I'm just saying, if you can't hit a guy, this is football, man. Why does the quarterback even wear pads? That's it's my question. But let's see here. Gamecocks taking out Alabama this week. You think? We'll talk about that in a minute during Keon Rose's college football dance party. Bruno Baller have no real horse in the race in baseball, but I would like to see the Dodgers versus Yankees in a World Series. That would probably be the best matchup. Why? Why would that be the best matchup? People in Philadelphia, after the Diamondbacks won last year, were complaining that the Diamondbacks were going to go on to the World Series and it was going to be boring. Why? Why can't fans of baseball, no matter what town you're from, watch the World Series, no matter who's in it? That's my question.
I think that for whatever reason, I think baseball more than other sports, when championship games get played, for whatever reason, baseball fans have just been conditioned to just care about the markets more than they do the players. I have no idea why that is, because we have Super Bowls where you had the Cincinnati Bengals in a Super Bowl. Sure, they're playing the Rams, but Cincinnati. But we like Joe Burrow. We like Jamar Chase. Like it was a fun Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In baseball, you could have a fun World Series, and if the markets are small, fans have just been trained and taught to tune out. And I don't know why, and I wish it would stop.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I love watching the World Series. I don't care who's in it. I mean, you do get a little tired of the same teams going to the World Series every year. And baseball is one of those sports where there's no, the sky's the limit on how much you can spend on your team. There's no salary cap. There's no way to keep it under control or in check. But that's a different story. Hey, by the way, if you're looking for the ALDS game tomorrow between the Tigers and the Guardians, they've moved it up because of the potential chance of inclement weather. So now the game is going to be starting at 1:08 p.m. Eastern time. So that's about 11 o'clock, 11:08 Arizona. No, it's 11. Have we fallen back yet or sprung forward, whatever the hell we do?
We have not done that yet.
All right. So then 10:08 in the morning, Arizona time, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that would be right. So if you want to watch some playoff baseball tomorrow, Cleveland, Detroit, that final game between them, 1:08 Eastern time, and you can watch that game. All right, everybody. Somebody here is asking what the dance move of the week is for Keon Rose's college football dance party. What's the go-to dance move of the week, says Hefty Lefty. Is it going to be the cha-cha, electric slide, the doogie, shoulder lean, Macarena, stanky leg? Why don't we go ahead and try to find out as we start our Keon Rose's college football dance party on this Friday, Jack. And it's going to be a fun weekend. There's a lot of games to talk about, Keon. So let's get after it. Of course, tonight, Utah, number 16, ranked at the Inferno in Tempe against ASU. We'll talk about that at the end. First, Gamecocks game. South Carolina taking on number 7, Alabama, from Bryant-Denny Stadium in Alabama. What do you got in this matchup?
Yeah, I've got Alabama. They got humbled humbled a week ago because, maybe you're looking down the schedule. Maybe you're looking a little bit ahead to that third Saturday in October. You're hoping to take on the Volunteers, knock them down a peg or two. And guess what? You weren't looking in front of you, and you go into Nashville, into Nash Vegas, as they call it, take on the Vanderbilt Commodores and just straight up get taken to town. I think that they bounce back in this week. Kalen DeBoer, I think, is a really good coach. I like Jalen Milroe, and I think that Alabama will not be overlooking South Carolina. Lesson learned. This program is too well run. These players are too good to make that particular mistake 2 weeks in a row. Now, maybe Alabama is more fraudulent than we thought. I don't necessarily think so. They've got athletes everywhere. They've got 5 stars everywhere. I think that Alabama bounces back and they win this game.
All right, up next on the slate is number 4, Penn State, taking on USC in L.A. That's going to be on CBS at 3:30 p.m. On Saturday. Who do you have in this matchup?
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting game here because I genuinely think that USC is at a disadvantage going into this game because they lost to Minnesota last week, and Minnesota's defense did whatever they wanted to stop USC in their offense. And Miller Moss had a horrific outing against the Golden Gophers. Penn State is literally better defensively in every way. Better linebackers, better defensive line, better corners, better safeties. I think Penn State has pretty much a similar result with Minnesota. However, I do think it is worth pointing out that teams this season who are traveling, and let me just rephrase that, Big Ten teams this season who are traveling more than 2 time zones are 1-8 on the year. Penn State is traveling all the way across the country to Los Angeles to take on the USC Trojans. So they have a chance to maybe try and push this trend in the other direction. I think they're the better football team. I think Drew Aller is a better quarterback than Miller Moss is right now. And I think Penn State's going to win the game, but this might be a low scoring game that gets a little bit ugly and is probably a little harder to watch than you'd like.
All right. Next up on the dance card, Stanford travels to Notre Dame. Notre Dame still ranked in the top 15. They're number 11. Are they going to stay in the top 15, or does Stanford come in and beat them?
I think they're going to stay in the top 15. Stanford just isn't very good. And I know that you've got to keep your eye on Notre Dame. They have a history of just having disappointing losses for teams that they should just beat really badly out of nowhere. Obviously, the Northern Illinois game from earlier this year, the one blemish on the Notre Dame record so far, they should be 5-0. They did not show up properly for that game, and they lost that game. Keep an eye out for it, but they are, on paper, so much better than Stanford. It's not even funny. Stanford doesn't even know what they're doing at quarterback at this point. It's just a revolving door of human beings throwing the football. I will take the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in this game. I think they're going to cover the 23.
Ooh, all right. There you go. A little extra juice there for you. Mississippi State on the road heading to Sanford Stadium, not Stanford, Sanford Stadium in Georgia. Take on number 5 Bulldogs. Who do you have?
Yeah, obviously, I think Georgia's the clear choice here because of just what they are, what their pedigree is, but also just the fact that Mississippi State has lost 4 straight games in a row. And last week they played Texas, and 35-13. Texas should have beaten them more badly, but Mississippi State was playing not to get blown out. You could tell they were running the football much more than they normally do, which for Mississippi State, that's a lot. They are trying not to look too bad in this game. And I think that they're going to do the same thing that they did against Texas, try to keep this thing low scoring, try to hang around in there, but they don't have the horses to hang with the Georgia Bulldogs. And I think that Georgia, Carson Beck, that air attack gets going against the Mississippi State defense that has not been able to stop anybody so far this season. And Bulldogs roll.
All right, so next up is one of the big games of the weekend, 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Number 9, Ole Miss at Tiger Stadium. They're celebrating the 100th anniversary of Tiger Stadium there at LSU. Number 9, Ole Miss, taking on number 13, LSU. Give us the lowdown.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ole Miss's chances in this game. I just don't know if I can pick them in this game. Obviously, Ole Miss has been absolutely incredible, and you can watch them essentially just run up the score on a number of teams. And they did meet their match last week. They ran into Kentucky. I should point out that Kentucky is playing really good defense. Kentucky has already claimed the Georgia Bulldogs' perfect record this year as well. So when you're looking at what Kentucky has done to teams, I'm not going to necessarily hold that against Ole Miss too much, but this is a big prove-it game for them. I expect them to be up for this one. The reason why I'm taking LSU, though, is LSU's offense is just on fire as of late, and Garrett Nussmeier starting to look like the guy that was promised for LSU, and it's just hard to go into that place and win. It's a night game. It's going to be humid. It's going to be hot, and they're going to be home, and it's going to be loud. If you're going to have to get into a shootout with a team, this is the worst team in the worst building to do it in all of college football. I'm taking the Tigers.
All right. He's calling upset on Ole Miss.
I'm calling upset on the Rebels.
Another big game this weekend. It's going to be 7:30 p.m. on NBC from Autzen Stadium. Number 2 Ohio State rolls into Autzen Stadium to take on the Ducks. They're ranked number 3. Who you got?
Yeah, this is one of those games where it depends on how much you believe in Ohio State. I like Ohio State like every year because they recruit well, they got talent all the time. You look at that Ohio State schedule, man. Who on earth have they actually played? They played Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State's bad this year. Iowa, somewhat improved offense, but last week didn't really get on the field. I do think Iowa's their biggest test so far. Mission passed. This is different. Oregon, you're going into Oregon, first off, which is another 2 time zone trip. And we already talked about it. 1 and 8 are Big Ten teams going a couple of time zones. You're going into the Pacific Northwest. It's not going to be fun over there. The weather is not going to be fun. Absolutely. Teams talk about it all the time. They do not like going up into Oregon to go play. And then you look at what Dan Lanning has built there. Inside of the trenches, the defensive line, the offensive line, the physicality. Ohio State just has not seen that this year. It's a 2-3 upset, so it's not a very big upset, but I'm calling another upset. I'm taking the Ducks.
Wow. Okay. He's taking the Ducks. All right. One of our last couple of games to talk about. Number 1, Texas traveling to the Cotton Bowl, and they're going to take on number 18, Oklahoma. I know this is a game very close to your heart, Keon.
Very close.
But you've got to be kind of neutral here. Talk to me.
I'm going to try to be neutral here because even if I take off my Longhorn hat, take off the burnt orange hat, put on the neutral gray hat.
Yeah.
I still think Texas is a better team here. Oklahoma is offensively, they struggle to move the football. And this is a very good Texas defense. I think Texas is capable of holding them in check. And I'll give Oklahoma that same credit, by the way. Their defense is also very solid. Brent Venables, I think, one of the great defensive minds in college football. I think he does hold Texas down for maybe a quarter or 2. That first half could be low scoring. But ultimately, Texas has the better athletes. They have the better performing quarterbacks, plural. Quinn Ewers is getting his job back. And if he doesn't play well, if he gets hurt again, they can always turn to Arch Manning. Oklahoma can't say anything like that. And then, of course, they're not even talking about all the weapons that Texas has at wide receiver and the running game that they've also shown. Isaiah Bond, the wide receiver, I like him a lot. This guy is just ripping the tops off of defenses everywhere. I'm going to take the Longhorns, even neutrally.
Hey, there you go.
If I put the orange hat back on, Sooners are getting blown the hell out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Horns up, Jack. Mm-hmm. Horns up. Okay. All right.
Listen, I don't talk trash a lot as a fan. This is the only game that brings it out.
Final game that we've got to look at. I know Arizona's on the road to take on BYU. Arizona's going to lose. I'll just call it. All right. Utah, number 16 in town tonight at the Inferno in Tempe to take on ASU. Basically mirror opposites of each team, 4-1 and 1-1. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, Utah obviously has a great squad, even without Cameron Rising, even with a true freshman, Isaac Wilson playing quarterback. He's been up and down like a freshman is, but they haven't needed him to go out there and win a lot of football games. The defense and the running game have been getting the job done for the Utah Utes. There's a reason why they were supposed to be the best team in the Big 12 so far this year. They haven't shown a lot of that, but again, that's because the freshman is in there. Cameron Rising is back tonight, and that does change a lot of things, in my opinion. But I also think that he's going to be a little bit rusty. I think this game has the potential to be closer than most people think. And a lot of people already think the game is going to be close. It's only a 6-point spread here that exists. Utah, they're not even a touchdown favorite for, the gap that people thought were going to be between these two teams going into the season. And of course, the running game has been huge for Utah. We'll see how much it gets going, because when you go into that building in Tempe, the running games for a lot of opposing teams seem to dry right up. So I'm looking for the Sun Devils to take the run away from Utah. And then what happens after that is dependent purely on whether or not Cam Rising is 100%, whether there's enough rust knocked off of him to be able to go out there and compete. I think that there probably should be. I mean, the guy's got 7 years of college football experience, so I will take the Utes in this one, but I think it's going to be really, really close.
That's killing me, man. It's killing me. All right, there it is. This week's Keon Rose's college football dance party. And, oh, my goodness, Gamecock is on the text line, 888-368-1580, and says, "You're dead to me, Keon."
I'm sorry, man. I love the Gamecocks. I love South Carolina. But this is, if Alabama had won last week, you could have been the trap game this week. But unfortunately, they lost to the team that you should be the angriest about losing to. And, well, you're sadly the next opponent in line. So,
well, we've talked some college football. When we come back in the final segment of hour number 2 here on the Daily Blender, we're going to talk some college basketball. Stay tuned, William. This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
After 3 years of legalized sports betting, something completely new is now live in Arizona. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here, and I'd like to introduce you to SportTrade. SportTrade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's going to change in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, SportTrade is your new home. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. Even if you're an experienced bettor and you prefer American odds, you'll love seeing odds closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110 offered just about everywhere else, coupled with near instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. Download SportTrade on your iPhone today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
SportTrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Paid for by government.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 50 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-935-7267, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-935-7267. Call now, and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-935-7267 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-935-7267.
Tommy, I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's UPORTE.com.
So, what's your favorite thing about sports? The excitement, the action, or the 5-meat pizza and the six-pack? Bingo.
That's what we thought.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender on 1580 99.3 The Fanatic. And don't forget, I've got some tickets to give away to ASU hockey tonight. I've got 2 tickets plus a parking pass. That's to tonight's game at 7:30. Look, if you can't use the tickets, then please don't play. But I will be calling for a caller here between now and the end of the show. So be ready to go. And Keon will hook you up with a couple of tickets to ASU hockey. That's in the microwave at ASU tonight at 7:30. And it comes with a parking pass as well. By the way, we've got several pairs of reserve grandstand tickets for the upcoming NASCAR Championship weekend, the Friday Night Craftsman Truck Series Championship, and the Saturday Xfinity Series Championship. Now, when I say that, I know somebody's going to text in. This always happens. Somebody's going to text in, hey, I'd like some tickets to that NASCAR Championship, the Cup Championship. I don't have tickets to the Cup Championship. I don't have the tickets in my hand. When Jeffrey comes back, we'll be giving away tickets to the Truck Series Championship or the Xfinity Series Championship, not the Cup Series. 888-368-1580. I had a couple of good texts here. Probably due to the increased popularity of fantasy football as opposed to fantasy baseball, helps form an attachment to players in the NFL versus the MLB. I'm not sure why Screaming Goat said that. Not sure why. Bruno Baller says it was Dancing with the Stars, Randy and Keon on College Football Dance Party. Well, I mean, I'm not a star. Keon's the sexiest man in sports talk radio. I don't have dance moves. I stay in the box, as it were.
Sometimes you just got to do the big man shuffle. You know what I mean? Like just stay at home.
Me. Yep. Bullseye says, can I get a Boomer Sooner for my University of Oklahoma Sooners who will be pulling off the upset this weekend against those scumhorns from Texas?
Oh,
I am not getting in the middle of this. I am not.
Have your Boomer Sooners while you can, sir, because it's not going to be lasting for very much longer.
Not getting in the middle of this one. Big George says, wow, wasn't even close. Keon definitely dominated this edition of Keon Rose's College Football Dance Party. Randy was a close second, and Jeffrey was a distant third. Jeffrey didn't even show up.
Well,
Keon won it with superior knowledge of Big Ten teams traveling 2 time zones west and playing poorly. Well, I mean, that's why we pay Keon the big bucks. The Moist One says, you are the apple of my eye. Do you suddenly feel uncomfortable?
Just a little bit. I looked over my shoulder for just a second because how? Wait, what do you mean by that?
Screaming Goat giving me clarity to that last text, probably due to the increased popularity of fantasy football as opposed to fantasy baseball. He says, you guys were talking about why people care more about the markets in the MLB and the players in the NFL in response to people liking certain matchups in the World Series. Oh,
but the thing
I see.
But the thing is, like, sports betting applies to all of it. Why wouldn't that apply to baseball too? People bet baseball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In fact, baseball, because of all the stats, kind of easier to bet than football, especially this season. But in general, it is easier to bet.
Hefty Lefty kicks into the conversation here on the text line at 888-368-1580. saying which championship race used to be the Winston Cup. Well, that's that was the Cup cars. That was the top level. That was Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Bill Elliott and all those guys. As a matter of fact, I think Jeff Gordon won a couple of those Winston Cups, and those are on his in his trophy case. When he first came in, he was quite the hot commodity, as it were, as a driver. Moist One asked, "What was the Piston Cup?" No,
we're not doing that.
No.
Come on.
Anyway, before we move into hour number 3 here, we've got a little time, I know. So in college basketball, Keon, the 5-star brothers Cameron and Caden Boozer, that's a name you probably remember, commit to Duke basketball. The twins are going to follow in their father's footsteps, announcing Friday that they're committing to Duke. The Boozer twins, whose father is 2-time NBA All-Star Carlos Boozer, chose the Blue Devils over Miami. They took a visit to Duke, Miami, and Florida in late August and early September. Carlos saying, of course, I'm proud of them. They've worked their butts off for this moment, and he's really excited that they took their time and decided to play together in college. Does this give Duke an edge? Because now what you can do, since they're twins, and they do look very similar. You could put them in, if one's injured, you could put the other one in under his name.
Well,
you see what I mean? I mean, you could really throw this off a little bit here.
They look very similar, but I think you're going to have trouble getting away with it because I think Cameron Boozer's the power forward of the two. He's 6'9", 6'10". Caden Boozer's 6'4". He's a point guard. So there's a clear difference in height. I don't know that you're going to be able to get away with it because once they stand next to somebody who's the height they're supposed to be, it's going to throw everything off. I don't know that you get away with that one, but they will have an edge on account of Cameron Boozer's a 5-star athlete. He's the number 1 ranked power forward in the country. I mean, the guy is just an incredible player. And then his brother's a 4-star, 4th ranked point guard. That ought to give you an edge just on sheer talent. I've seen some of the hoop mixtapes of these guys, man. They can really ball.
So can you explain to me, Caden Boozer has been among the best passers in his class for the past couple of seasons, leading the Nike eyeball circuit. What the hell is eyeball?
It's like a showcase. Like it's a Nike showcase. It's basically what it sounds like, trying to get eyeballs on young athletes that are coming up and look promising.
They spelled it wrong. EYBL.
Well,
it's not eyeball.
Yeah, it's
they spelled it complete. Did the guys at Nike not understand how to spell?
It's supposed to be a clever thing.
I mean, clearly Nike should be N-I-K-I-E or N-I-K-E-Y, Nike, not N-I-K-E, because everybody else goes Nike.
Nike. I don't think anybody says Nike.
Well, I mean, people that don't know, you see it on a shirt or something.
Who doesn't know about Nike?
What is Nike? You see what I'm saying? And now they're trying to pass off eyeball on the rest of the country by spelling it EYBL. I don't understand, Keon.
I mean, it's Nike. Now, I don't think they did anything with Nike. That's just how that's pronounced. Nike, is it the Greek or Roman god of victory?
But yeah, it makes sense because the guy who owns Nike came from Oregon, and it's clear that they don't know how to spell in Oregon.
I think Nike, that's how you spell that. Yeah, that's
eyeball. And then they call it the Nike Peach Jam. Well, clearly you don't take peaches and jam them. It's basketballs. What are these guys at Nike trying to do here? I think they're trying to stupefy the rest of society, Keon.
I don't think that's the plan. I think there are better ways to do that.
It's the Nike Peach Jam. Nobody jams peaches in a basketball. Well, now peach jam on hot toast is good.
It's very delicious. Yeah.
We'll have to investigate this more. 2 hours down of the Daily Blender on this Friday. Hour 3 right around the corner.
Hey, football fans, Michael Vick here. I had an advantage. My legs were a weapon. 6,109 rushing yards, still unbeaten records. That's why I bet at BetUS.com. they offer American sports bettors an advantage. The industry's biggest bonus, a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. And get expert picks and predictions on their very own BetUS TV. Take advantage. Join me online at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. BetUS, where the game begins.
You may know me as Ruben Gallego, but I've had a lot of titles over the years. First, son, or mijo, by my single immigrant mom who works so hard to make ends meet, and brother, by my 3 incredible sisters. I've been called janitor, line cook, construction worker, doing any job I could to help out since we didn't have much. I earned the title graduate from Harvard University. I was called infantryman in the Marines when my company took some of the heaviest losses in Iraq. I'm called congressman, proudly representing Arizona the past 10 years. But my favorite title of all is dad to my 2 beautiful kids, whose future I am fighting for every day. That's why today, my title is candidate for Senate. I'm fighting to lower costs and secure our border. I'm Ruben Gallego, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message because for me, it's never been about titles. It's about standing up for hardworking Arizonans like you.
Paid for by Gallego for Arizona.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GAME to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hidden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
Quiet, people, settle down because it's time.
For what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Welcome to hour number 3 of this Friday edition of the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios in beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Right over there, that's the sexiest man in sports talk radio. His name is Keon Rose. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien, our captain. My captain. He's on vacation, and he's slated to come back sometime in October. He'll be back whenever the hell he's ready to go, I guess. I don't know. You are the fourth dimension texting in at 888-368-1580. And we got some texts here to get to. Bruno Baller saying, I'm sure Randy remembers before Nike came along, Converse was king of footwear. Well, yeah, I remember Converse. I remember the Converse kicks. Yeah, I like those.
That Magic Johnson, Larry Bird commercial.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. ASU hockey started at 3:30 today because of the football game. Uh-oh. That's from a new texter here on the text line. A new texter here on the text line. It's a 7428. Can we confirm that somehow, Keon? Maybe you can text somebody. ASU hockey started at 3:30 today because of the football game tonight. All right. Moist one on the text line says, I don't know if I don't know if I want to. Moist one says you don't jam peaches. Oh, yeah. I guess it's a question mark. You don't jam peaches?
No.
Screaming Goat explains to me what eyeball means. Elite Youth Basketball League. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Screaming Goat, for giving me clarity. It's things like that that keep me up at night. Things like that and things like this. Hefty Lefty. Piston Cup or Fiston Cup?
What?
Wow. Number one Rattlers fan. By the way, how are the Rattlers doing this year? Number one Rattlers fan.
Didn't they win it all?
Is it over already?
Yeah, because it's in the summer.
Oh,
it's in the summer.
Shows you what I know. I don't know much. Number one Rattlers fan says the guy who invented basketball 150 years ago, the first basket was a peach basket. Was it, Ken? Was it a peach basket?
It was a peach basket.
All right, so I don't know whether to give these things away with a. I don't. What good are they if the hockey game was at 3:30 today? Nobody gave me the memo. Nobody told me this. 888-368-1580. We talked a little NCAA basketball last time. We have had some fun talking some baseball, a little playoff ball. We had Keon Rose's college football dance party. And I've got Dr. Jeffrey's NFL injury report coming up shortly. Also on this date in Big George's sports history. All of that is ahead here on this edition of the Daily Blender. Have we found out if the game was?
I am still working on it.
All right. So I can tell you a couple of things about what's happening in the football league. It looks like Anthony Richardson for the Colts is going to play. He's on track to play. It looks like he was in practice, and it looks like he is on track to play the game. Remember that? What was that guy's name? Ricky Pearsall? Was that his name? He was shot?
Yeah.
He's on track to play this week.
Which is incredible.
Right?
Also seems unwise, but I also remember when Brian Robinson was a rookie for the Washington Commanders and got shot in his leg and played later that year.
Also, I'm trying to give the good news and buy some time here. No, let's see. That's an injury. That's an injury. Damn, that's too bad. Tell you what, I'll just go ahead and do a Dr. Jeffrey's injury report. So let me get the music here, and it will go from there. Here it is, the NFL injury report. Ladies and gentlemen, pay close attention. This is the up-to-date. Just 9 minutes ago, it was released. So I have it updated. For the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Chicago Bears. The Bears a 2-point favorite, by the way, in this game in London. 6:15 a.m. on the big station here. Jaguars cornerback Tyson Campbell, he's got a hamstring issue. He's out. Safety Daniel Thomas, hamstring, he's out. Wide receiver Gabe Davis, Evan Ingram, and Yashir Abdullah, questionable for Jacksonville. The Bears, Jaquan Brisker is out. On the defensive lineman, Zach Pickens, and defensive back Terrell Smith, out. Tyreek Stevenson, doubtful. Tevin Jenkins and Jacob Martin, questionable for the Bears. The Commandos. It's not too bad, actually. It looks like their safety, Tyler Owens, is out. linebacker Jordan McGee, defensive lineman F.A. Obata. Did I say that right?
You did, yeah.
Tibula fibula. And Brian Robinson Jr., the running back, questionable. For the Ravens, Malik Harrison, Arthur Millette, Broderick Washington, out. Running back Rashid Ali, neck. Salah, oh my goodness. I'm not even going to try this. Amove Lalu and Devontae Hardy, Marlon Humphrey, and Ronnie Stanley, all questionable. The Cardinals, Zay Jones, wide receiver. Darius Robinson, out. Kicker Matt Prater. Cornerback Garrett Williams, groin. Offensive lineman Kelvin Beachum with a hamstring. Offensive lineman Christian Jones with an ankle. Those are all questionable. The Packers defensive lineman Devontae Wyatt, out. Christian Watson, the wide receiver. Rashid Walker, the tackle. Defensive lineman Aaron Mosby, shoulder. Offensive lineman Jordan Morgan, shoulder. Questionable. Wow, this is quite a list here. It is a third of the way through the season, though. So the Texans will be without wide receiver Robert Woods. Also Kamari Lassiter, cornerback for their defense. He's out.
No, that's a shame. Is that really? I mean, they're going up against Drake May and the Patriots, but he's a big part of their defense.
Running back Joe Mixon for the Texans, questionable, might be back. Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson, out. Let's see. Let me look on here. KJ Osborne, the wide receiver. He and that's about it. KJ Osborne is questionable to play. Mixon looks like he was limited during each of Houston's last couple of practices. His status for Sunday is looking up, according to this report. The Buccaneers, who are 3.5 point favorites over New Orleans. The Bucs will be missed. I'm just going to focus on the fantasy football positions. Cameron Johnson, Trey Palmer, those two are out. Rashad White is doubtful. And Jalen McMillan, hamstring, he is questionable. Meanwhile, the Saints, Taysom Hill with a rib, Derek Carr with the oblique issue, out. Meanwhile, Kendre Miller, the running back, he is questionable. Let's see, the Browns, running back Nick Chubb and running back Nick Chubb, running back Nyheim Hines, they are out. Looks like there's nobody else to worry about. The Eagles have nobody injured, absolutely nobody,
and yet somehow
they lose.
They're still the Eagles, though. They look bad.
All right, the Colts, looks like Jonathan Taylor will be out with an ankle injury. Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., both of those guys will be back. Anthony Richardson, questionable. Chargers at Broncos. I mean, the list is so long for the Chargers. It's mostly defensive and secondary.
Yeah, like 9 guys. It's
everybody on their defense is questionable.
Everyone on the defense is questionable, and this is them coming off of a bye week. There is no bye week to look forward to get healthy for the Chargers.
The Broncos, Josh Reynolds is going to be out with a hand injury. Audric, is it Estime or Estime or Estimate or Eastme? He is questionable with an ankle injury. Let's see here. Michael Pruitt, the tight end for the Steelers, and Cordarrelle Patterson. Both of those guys are out. Jalen Warren is questionable for the Steelers. Devontae Adams still dealing with a lingering hamstring and I want to be traded injury. Tight end Michael Meyer, he's got a personal reason. He's going to be out. He's going to miss the game. Jacoby Meyer, he is questionable, as well as running back Zamir White. Falcons. Not really anything big.
Not really.
Troy Anderson and Nate Landman, the linebackers, both of them are questionable. Well, you got to feel for the Panthers, though.
For which of the many reasons do you have to feel for the
Jadeveon Clowney is doubtful.
Like they've got players hurt, but also you could just feel for the Panthers because they're the Panthers.
Yeah.
They started the season as the Carolina Panthers. That has my pity already.
The Detroit Lions, Dallas Cowboys report for the Lions. Christian Mahogany, he's sick. He's out. He's got an illness. He's a little under the weather. Okay, can't play. Let's see. Cowboys. Yeah. Eric Kendricks, Micah Parsons, Deron Bland, Colleen Carson, Nick Vigil, questionable. Micah Parsons, out. I don't see anything really disturbing about the Bengals at Giants. Yeah, let's see. Chase Brown has got a quad injury. He's questionable. The Giants' Malik Neighbors, concussion. Kayvon Thibodeau has a wrist injury. He's out. So is Malik Neighbors. Devin Singletary, questionable with a groin. Bills at the Jets. Khalil Shakir did not practice for the second straight day. Defensive tackle Ed Oliver did not practice. Running back James Cook also did not practice. That's all for the Bills. There goes another one of my guys.
Yeah.
James Cook. Darn it to heck!
I've got a league where I've got James Cook, Rashad White, and Brian Robinson, and they're all questionable.
It's just killing me.
My entire weekend is about to be ruined. So
that's just killing me. All right, that is the Ask Dr. Jeffrey NFL injury report. If you know of some other ones, let me know. And now again, Sunday, the Weekend Warriors will not be on because they go to London, England football game, and not the football you would expect in London either. So that's what's happening this weekend. Oh my gosh!
So
yeah,
I do not have an answer to your hockey question. However, I have football tickets, so it doesn't matter.
You do have football tickets.
I have football tickets, not hockey tickets.
Not hockey tickets. Do we have a parking pass?
We have a parking pass.
All right, let's go ahead and take care of this right now. Caller number 3 at 888-368-1580. You can get some ASU football tickets for tonight's game versus Utah. It's the blackout game, so wear black to the Inferno at ASU, plus a parking pass. 2 tickets and a parking pass for ASU football. Caller 3 right now at 1-800-368-1580.
There's somebody, this is caller number 1, so that person's already, whoops.
Fast. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. So I was reading an article on NFL.com. And it's talking about officials. And it's talking about officials missing easy calls due to lack of, quote, enhanced video, end quote. Now, if you follow this show at all, you know Jeffrey has been saying that each stadium should have their own video setup. There should be a replay referee up in the skybox, and he should be able to monitor the television feeds, and there should be an eye in the sky, so to speak, watching officials. And you would think that the NFL, with all their billions and billions and billions, would be able to make this happen. But no, we've got to all sit on our hands and wait while referees in New York somewhere try to get this thing right. And apparently there was a muffed punt in this San Francisco-Seattle game on Thursday night. And it looks like San Francisco was robbed on a call of the first play in the fourth quarter when it was a close game. I guess it was just a 6-point game. And I think it's something the NFL really needs to address. But my question is, why won't they? Why won't they allow the refs to have enhanced video? Wouldn't they give the referees every single possibility to get the call right? We're going to talk about that with Keon when we come back. He's still on the phone. But when we come back from our break, we're going to talk about should the NFL have enhanced video for the referees, especially after last night's game. This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NASCAR racing the Bank of America Roval 400 on Sunday at Charlotte. It'll be on the 2.3-mile road course inside the Speedway. Shane Van Griesbergen is the betting favorite, road course expert. He's at plus 500. AJ Allmendinger, who won last year's race, is at plus 750. Kyle Larson is also plus 750. William Byron, who's guaranteed a spot into round 3 based on points, is at plus 1,000. And Chase Elliott, who leads all drivers with 2 career wins at the Roval, is plus 1,100 to take the checkered flag. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
After 3 years of legalized sports betting, something completely new is now live in Arizona. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here, and I'd like to introduce you to SportTrade. SportTrade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's going to change in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, SportTrade is your new home. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. Even if you're an experienced bettor and you prefer American odds, you'll love seeing odds closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110 offered just about everywhere else, coupled with near instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. Download SportTrade on your iPhone today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
SportTrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-880-6363. That's 1-800-880-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-880-6363. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harman Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmansolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call. 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Friday edition of the Daily Blender. And we are in hour number 3 right now and heading into segment 2. Yes, Peon, I did find that the Sun Devils did play today at 3. I'm assuming the game is still going on. They're playing Michigan. That would have been a hell of a show to go to. But apparently Beer Bob is going to go to the ASU-Utah game tonight. He's got 2 tickets and a parking pass, compliments of 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Enjoy the game, Beer Bob, and wear black because we're not in the desert or anything, and it's not 105 degrees outside. So make sure you wear black into the Inferno to cheer on the Sun Devils tonight for their annual blackout game.
I was looking for ASU UCF. I could not for the life of me understand why I couldn't find it, and that would be why.
Yeah, it's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
It just dawned on me to check their schedule, and there it was. So
life happens.
So we were talking about enhanced video replay. I guess there was a thing last night, and the 49ers were robbed of a punt call, and they didn't get it, and they didn't have replay. And I'm just wondering why the officials do not have this technology available to them. The NFL's got billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, and yet they can't seem to figure out the referee situation, and we can't seem to give the referees what they need to make the correct calls, especially when it gets into a sort of a sticky situation. And so I want to know your take on that. That's why I wanted to wait till after the break.
Yeah, I think that NFL officials should have every tool they need to be able to make the determination. You can't do this in a sport where the games are decided by an average of 3 points and make mistakes like that. It literally will cost teams games, which in turn cost players their positions, cost coaches their jobs. And that's before you even get into the fact that the National Football League has jumped into bed with sports books, which means that a large part of your viewer base is betting on these games. These calls have to be right. They have to be correct. And a football game is already long. Nobody minds already. So what's a little bit more time to just get the calls correct?
So what happened was in the final quarter of this game last night, 49ers punter Mitch Wisowski punted the ball 49 yards down to the Seahawks 18. It appeared the ball touched the hands of returner D. Williams and was recovered by San Francisco's Jalen Graham. However, the officials ruled the punt was downed by Graham, not a fumble that was recovered, which led to 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan to challenge the play. There is apparently, when the refs returned from reviewing the play, they announced the original call on the field stands. What? How could they do that? Well, apparently it was not a challengeable call, is what I'm understanding. How could they get this wrong?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, if you have the resources to look at it, but if the call's not challengeable, you have to ask yourself why that call isn't challengeable. Like the NFL needs to explain why that call isn't challengeable. It needs to have an explanation. You can't just say, that's not a challengeable call. Well, why the hell not? It's a call that affects the play, doesn't it? It's a call that affects where we get the ball and if we get the ball and any number of factors like those punt those punt rulings matter a lot. And, you know, if the play is not reviewable because it's in the hands of the officials, or it's not a challengeable play, that's one thing, because the official should already be reviewing it. Like on touchdowns, that's not challengeable like it used to be, because the officials already have the review on that. With this, if it's not challengeable, why the hell is it not reviewable? That doesn't make any sense either. There should be someone in New York going, wait, hold on a second. That doesn't seem correct.
Well,
and
in New York, or as Jeffrey said, on site at the stadium. Why not on site at the stadium?
On site works too. I mean, the one thing that the Alliance of American Football did well, the AF, was that they had one of those officials. They called them the Sky Judge, and the Sky Judge would review those things, and it was really cool, and it worked. It's literally the only thing that was good about that league, because obviously it folded halfway through its own season, its only season, but like it still got the calls right. And the NFL has stolen things from these other leagues before. If the idea is good, they've taken this kickoff from the XFL. It's kind of growing on me, to be honest with you. That is an idea that they've thought was good for player safety. So they took the idea, you know, the sky cams, the XFL, the first time around, they took that idea. Why not? Because it makes the game look more dramatic when you see it on TV. So why not have that? Why not steal the Sky Judge idea? I don't understand the NFL sometimes. You have $163 billion. That is what you are worth. Spend some of it on making sure the games are called correctly.
Yeah. No kidding. I guess rules analyst Terry McCauley on the Amazon broadcast said he spoke with Walt Anderson in the command center in New York, who relayed that the NFL did not get the enhanced video that we all watched on our television screens. So with whatever footage the league officials had from the NFL's cameras, they were unable to see what the rest of the football world saw, because this wrong call was made. They got the raws, in other words, from the cameras. They didn't get enhanced video footage. They didn't get the tight zoom footage. They didn't get anything like that. They just had the raws from the cameras. And by raws, I mean raw footage. They have direct lines from the cameras, and that's how they reviewed this call. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just, nobody wants to hear that an organization that has so much money that it could literally buy multiple countries over and over and over again. Nobody wants to hear that that company didn't have the enhanced footage that I had at home on my TV. I was looking at better footage than they were.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear that. Not
Exactly what it was. Yeah, no kidding. Mr. Wilbur says, "Hey, ref, what? Are you blind?" Beer Bob said basically what we were already talking about. For the Muff Punt, they said on the broadcast that they didn't have the views that Amazon Prime had from their cameras. Well, they had the raw camera footage. They didn't have the enhanced footage.
That's
well, Beer Bob also said on ASU's website, hockey game was listed as 3:30. Beer Bob also says, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Not only will it be my first ASU football game, but also a great way to start off my birthday weekend. Oh, happy birthday to you, Beer Bob.
Yeah, happy birthday. Also, those are some good seats. So I hope you get to enjoy the game. It's a nice spot.
Chosen One said, no challenge required. Tuck says, the NFL could do this tomorrow. Why don't they do it? They need to have a scapegoat, the refs, for when they need a game to go a certain way. Well, maybe.
Though this
Sir Drives a
particular
Lot
call went
says
against the Niners. So
Sir Drives a Lot says sounds fishy, and he also says Mr. Wilbur recognizes game when he sees it.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Tempting. I have a joke in the chamber, and I'm going to leave it right there. Won't be using it.
Baker's Cocky Hen says it's going to be interesting to watch hockey or football without lights tonight during this blackout game. No, it's not a blackout that.
It's not a
Baker's
literal blackout.
No, the lights will be on. The fans are encouraged to wear black. It's going to be it's very cold out there, as living here in the Valley, you would know how freezing cold it is. And they want the fans to wear in 100-degree heat inside the inferno to wear black? Why couldn't it be like a maroon out or a gold out? Why does it have to be a black out?
Well, I know they like the gold games at the end of the season. So I don't know.
Harvey Putzwaddler simply says, "Go Utes." Harvey, I didn't know you were from Utah. You a Utah guy?
It's one of two things on our text line. Either someone is legitimately a fan of an ASU opponent, or they're just a hater and they just like rooting against ASU for whatever reason.
Moist one, I'm not sure I should read this because I don't know what you mean by so big.
Oh boy.
I'm going to leave that there. I'm just going to leave it right there. Silver Pop says, Randy, your music for the NFL injury list sounds like a mashup of Nightmare on Elm Street theme song and Unsolved Mysteries. Thank you. Bear Claw says, that's quite the touch playing porn music in the background during Keon's college football dance party. No, it's disco, man. It's a dance party. It's disco. It's not porn music. Which I haven't heard.
By the way, Randy, you have to get me a copy of that music, because when you're out and I have to do the dance party, I can't find the same disco music you found. And I had a day where I just pulled up some disco music, and you can ask Jeffrey. It's the worst thing any of us had ever heard. We got about halfway through the segment. We just had to do the end of it just in the silence. It was not a very danceable dance party. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I mean, Jeffrey was hurting. I was hurting. Everyone on the text line was hurting.
Oh, I bet.
We've got to fix that.
Yeah, it's not porn music. That's a disco music. It's all right if you have never heard of that. It's okay.
Or that your only encounters with disco music is through porn, which I have questions, but I'm afraid to ask them.
Sir Drives a Lot says, tells jokes, makes people laugh, Keon.
I don't
Maybe
know
it's the way I delivered it. I
don't know what that is in reference to. The show moves pretty quick, so sometimes by the time we get to your text, none of us can remember what you meant by that. I'm sorry.
Big George has a couple of texts that's very interesting. First of all, he says, isn't the Piston Cup an innocent reference to the Cars movie? Pretty sure Lightning McQueen is the defending champion of the Piston Cup.
Well, first off, I said no, I didn't want to go there because I didn't want to talk about the movie Cars. But secondly, there was a Cars 3. I believe Lightning McQueen lost that last Piston Cup.
Did he?
He did. Jackson Storm, I believe, was the winning racer there. So do with that information what you will.
Also, he goes on to say, so tonight's ASU blackout game will be like a day in the life for Mr. Wilbur.
They have on the ESPN, because I just wanted something on the TV here in the studio. Harvard versus Cornell. This might be actually one of the most painful football games I've ever watched. The score is a normal score.
Yeah.
But the way that they're doing it is
the gameplay itself.
It's rough. It's rough. This barely qualifies as football.
Baker's cocky hen making the point. Who wants a Piston Cup anyway?
Sure.
Bullseye says, how dare you tarnish the great name of a racer? That music you used, Keon, was amazing.
Nobody else agreed with you. I don't know what to tell you.
Did you use them? That was the group, Eraser?
That was one of them. There was a few in there. Eraser was one. I don't know if Eraser is the reason why it was bad, because I didn't know half the groups I was hearing. All I know is we were all struggling through it.
All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk some NBA win, over, and under totals. And then it's on this date in Big George's sports history. And I don't know what the hell else is going to happen. But rest assured, it will happen on the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right. They're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
1580, The Fanatic.
It is hour number 3 of the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic as we head for home on this Friday. Big George on the text line, 888-368-1580. Isn't Cars 3 a prequel to Cars? So Lightning McQueen is still the defending Piston Cup champion.
It's not a prequel. I think I never watched 2, so I have no idea. But 3 is not a prequel because Doc is already gone by the time 3 comes around.
I watched 1 at grandchild point.
That's the only way to watch it.
Yeah. Harry Soap says, Randy, since Jeffrey's not here, why don't you play all the music that he hates and get it out of the way before he comes back? You see, when you say get it out of the way, Jeffrey's a connoisseur of all kinds of music except for 2, country and Western. And that's because he was forced to listen to it in the back of an unair-conditioned station wagon, sitting way in the back, and it was smoke-filled, and his dad would play country Western music all the time, and that's why he doesn't like it. I will say this, though. He does like Johnny Cash, who just happens to be one of the highwaymen, which is country and Western, and he won't admit it. He won't. Johnny Cash is rockabilly.
Okay, well, that's very close. The border, the border of rockabilly and country / Western, that they overlap a lot. But okay, anyway, I also should point out that this is the Daily Blender with whose name Jeffrey O'Brien.
Yeah,
and so even though he's not here,
yeah,
it's still his show.
Baker's cocky hen asking you, where's Doc now, Keon? What do you mean he's gone?
You know, the movie explained it better. You should watch it. I don't want to listen. Don't put me in the spot of like upsetting a child. You know, it's one thing if a child.
I have so many children listening to the show.
I sure hope not, but you know, I've been informed that the sound of my voice, and in fact the volume of my voice, has scared many children.
I've never had that complaint.
I've gotten it a couple times, but I genuinely that is something that I don't care about. But this there are a couple of things I won't do, and that crossing a line of having to explain what happened to a character in a movie.
Did he get in a wreck? Did he rust out? Did his frame rust out?
His frame rusted out, but naturally, you know, like in his sleep.
Naturally.
Yeah. Natural causes, whatever that would be.
What causes natural frame rusting?
The ocean, I guess. I don't know.
The ocean.
I don't know. I don't know exactly how it happened, but you know, it's just.
I thought they were at Radiator Falls.
I don't know
in the desert somewhere.
Yeah. Look, I don't know exactly what causes it. How does a sentient car pass of natural causes? I'm not actually aware.
He passed. Who did he pass? Lightning McQueen?
He passed the baton on to Lightning McQueen.
I see.
Yeah. There's no nice way of. Look, you're just gonna have to watch the movie yourself, man. I can't.
The cars had hands. Do they have hands?
They don't, but they seem to get an awful lot of things done that would require hands. But for whatever reason, they, you know, it's got heavy. I didn't expect to have to explain
the whole
that.
Damn show to a grinding halt.
It's just there are flashbacks and sad music every time they show old video of him in the movie.
Video of Doc?
Yeah, it's flashbacks from the first one, but you never actually see Doc. He's not there. So,
wow. I don't even know if I can go on the rest of the show.
I don't know either. I didn't want us to go here.
888-368-1580. Wow, somebody please make it stop. Quiet Cannon giving us a score update. Dodgers Padres no score, bottom of 2. Thank you for the update, Quiet Cannon. Big George, Keon, are you saying that you don't want to upset all the children listening to the show by explaining how an animatronic car, it's easy for me to say, in a movie dies?
Well, yes, Big George. That's what I was attempting to avoid.
I guess Big George said it, not you.
Yeah. So thanks for letting me off the hook, I guess.
Well, everybody knows that the NBA season is right around the corner. And I want to talk about the NBA West because, the Phoenix Suns are in it. I happen to be a Phoenix Suns fan. And personally, I think the Western Division is a strong division. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what you think, Keon, about these over-under wins that they have figured out on CBS.com. We'll start with at the very top here. The team that they say is going to have the most wins at CBS, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're saying they had 57 wins last season, and this coming season they anticipate them to have 56.5 wins, total wins. And the Pythagorean theory wins would be 61. So what say you, over or under 56.5?
Yeah, I would say over. I think the Thunder are a young team, so they're inclined to be a little bit healthier than the other teams in the Western Conference. They also showed last regular season what they're capable of, and I think that they are a successful regular season team. Can they take that extra step in the playoffs, the postseason, where it matters? that's what we have to look out for. But as far as the regular season goes, yeah, I believe that the Thunder can do that and do it really well. They've got a bunch of young stars, Chet Holmgren, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I do think that this is a team that can win around that many games. Yeah.
Okay, Minnesota Timberwolves, the 23-24 wins was 56. They're estimating they're going to have 52.5 wins. Are you going to go over or under?
Really depends on Julius Randle and how well he plays and how well he fits into what the Timberwolves want to do. You know, Julius Randle was not happy with his role in New York because Jalen Brunson sort of became the star and took over the team. And Julius Randle kind of fell to the wayside a little bit, kind of fell to the background. He was still a good player, awesome basketball player. But does he go to Minnesota? Does he buy into what Minnesota wants to do? And does he just acknowledge right away the actual star of this team is Anthony Edwards? It will never be Julius Randle. If he can fall in line with that, I think there's a lot that he can add to this Timberwolves team. And I think that, 52 wins, 53 wins for the Timberwolves, absolutely realistic number and maybe even more. But if he doesn't get in line, then, the Timberwolves are still going to be very, very good from a defensive standpoint. They can kind of slide Naz Reid into that spot where they had Karl Anthony Towns. But obviously, I think they'd like to try the offense and of a Julius Randle, because I think there are some lineups where he can be really deadly if he buys into what they want him to do.
Denver Nuggets had 57 wins last season. This season, they're estimating the Nuggies are going to have 51.5 wins. What say you, over or under for the Denver Nuggets? 51.5.
I mean, 51.5 is already a step back from what they had last year, right? And for good reason. Like they're just not as deep as they were. When you go and lose a ton of talent and you've got players going, and again, not top tier talent, but their bench depth, like that stuff does matter in the Western Conference, where every team is loaded. A lot of these games are not going to be decided by very much. The Nuggets are still going to be very, very good. So I don't think I'll take the under on 51.5. I'll take the over on that, because I just think that even with some of the changes to that roster, I still think that the Nuggets are going to win a lot of games. Jamal Murray has to stay healthy. Russell Westbrook has to stay healthy. So there's some ifs there, but you got Jokic in the center. That's going to make you competitive no matter what.
And the Mavericks, they're estimating, I'll start with last season. They had 50 wins. This season, they're estimating 49.5. Over, under?
I think a little under. Maybe not a ton, but Luka Doncic is dealing with an injury right now, and that injury is going to be kind of an ongoing thing. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what injury he has. So it's a calf contusion.
He's a butt face. That's what it is.
He is also that, but with a calf contusion, there's no surgery that's going to make that better. And with rehab, it's rest. That's the only thing that can make a calf contusion really better. So Luka's going to have a load managed season if he plays for huge chunks of the season at all. And if you're going to tell me that Luka Doncic isn't going to be on the court for this Mavericks squad, I'm inclined to believe that they lose maybe more games than they normally would when he's out there on the floor.
All right. What about the Memphis Grizzlies? Last season, they only had 27 wins. Is that right? Is that a typo?
That is not a typo.
This year, they're anticipating them to have 47.5. Over under for the Grizzlies, 47.5.
Yeah, the 47.5, that's all coming from Ja Morant. The reason why they had 27 wins, the reason why this is not a typo, is that Ja was obviously suspended for a large chunk of the first half of the season, and then he returned and almost immediately got injured and was out for the year. So Ja's going to be back. They should be better, but Ja Morant is starting to get to that injury-prone point with me, where I don't know if I can trust him to stay healthy. He is kind of a smaller guy, like a slighter frame, and he plays so explosively and so recklessly, and he goes above the rim and guys foul him, and he just takes some of these difficult landings to watch. He's landing on his shoulder, he's landing on his back, and you're like, man, at some point you're just going to have to decide to play this game slower, just because your body cannot physically take that beating over the course of an entire NBA season. If Ja can stay healthy, I'll take the over on the 47.5. If he can't, I'll take the way, way, way under.
Okay. The Phoenix Suns last season had 49 wins. This time, CBS Sports is saying that they're only going to have 47.5 wins. Do you agree with that? Over or under?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that they're going to probably be around there, 47, 48, just because the Western Conference is loaded. Like you get better by adding Mike Budenholzer, but you added Mike Budenholzer to make you a better playoff team. The Suns are going to make the playoffs. It's a question of what you do after that. So like they're not concerned about that. But the West is deep. Like you're just going to have a lot of difficult games and a lot of difficult matchups over and over and over again that we haven't even gotten to a team like the Warriors yet or the Kings. Like those are tough teams to beat. Those are going to be tough games to play. You'll win some, you'll lose some, but like this is just such a tough conference. Any team trying to win, over 50 games is going to be tough sledding. And I do think it's going to take a little bit of an adjustment period, figuring out what Budenholzer wants done, because his offense is completely different from Vogel's in that they'll actually shoot the ball from distance and long range.
So Vogel had an offense then.
Yeah, it just was a very simple, underwhelming offense.
Let's get this out of the way for our 7-foot tall lawyer. It's time for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1992, after participating in a game against the Dolphins in Miami, Florida, NFL, Atlanta Falcons cornerback Deion Sanders flew to Pittsburgh, hoping to become the first athlete to play in 2 professional leagues on the same day. However, the traveling outfielder would not be in the lineup that evening for Atlanta. The Braves lost 7-1 in Game 5 of the NLCS to the Pittsburgh Pirates at Three Rivers Stadium. I remember that day. I remember watching that game. I remember watching if he was going to make it. And then when he got there, they wouldn't put him in. I'm like, why? Why not pinch hit him or something? Let that be a record or something. It's kind of like race car drivers who drive NASCAR going to race in the Indianapolis 500 on Memorial Day weekend, and then that night racing in the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte. I've seen that done before. Nobody has won either the 500 or the 600, but Tony Stewart has done it a few times. Kyle Larson, the most recent, who just did it. He had a great run in the Indy 500, but he didn't do too well in the 600. I mean, he was there, but all right. Some more teams that we were talking about, the over and under. We've got a few minutes left, right? So we left off with the Phoenix Suns. Sacramento Kings had 46 wins last year. For some reason, I thought it was more. I don't know why.
No,
but they're picking them to have 47.5. Do you take the over or under?
It really depends on how the DeRozan thing goes. They added DeMar DeRozan. You have to think DeMar DeRozan makes a team better, but he is going to change the offense because he just kind of does that. Anytime DeRozan shows up on a team, your team becomes a much more half-court based offense than it was before because that's just how he plays. And you don't go out and get a guy like DeMar DeRozan unless you're going to feature him. This one's tough. And they missed the playoffs last year too. And it wasn't by very much. This is one of those teams that wound up being a casualty of just how deep the West is. The West isn't any less deep. I'm going to go out on a limb and say over. I do think DeRozan makes them slightly better.
I'm just going to go ahead and give you some other ones here. The Pelicans, who I think is a dark horse team this year. I think this is a team to be watching out for. Had 49 wins last year. They're saying 47.5. Golden State 46 wins last year. They're saying 44.5. So that's backwards.
And I might still take the under on that.
The Rockets 41 and 43.5 for this year. The Lakers 48 wins this year. They're estimating 43.5, which I think is interesting. The Clippers 51 last year, 38.5 this year is what they're estimating. And the San Antonio Spurs, who got CP3, and I saw him in an exhibition game with what's his name, Wemby. Oh my God! Putting those CP3 knows how to feed Wemby the ball.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be a little more dangerous this year than just 36.5 wins.
I think so too.
It's just me. Well, that's going to do it for this week of the Daily Blender. We'll see you Monday at 3 o'clock. Bye.
Hey, sports fans, we've got exciting